I don't think so. Look at his poll numbers. Look at the way that people voted for him in the Democratic primary. That's crazy. I guess I'm crazy. Obama.
Country.
Guys.
We pay the highest taxes, the highest costs for gas, electricity, water. We had the highest unemployment rate in the whole country for most of last year. Where is the response to any of that? It's non-existent.
Bessent's gay. Bessent wasn't running for president. Scott Bessent's gay. There's plenty of other gays, plenty of other guys that are gay that are involved in Trump's fucking, like, I know it's him. It's like one other guy. Oh, Peter Thiel, who's not directly involved, but like kind of, right? No, absolutely. So the thing is that a lot of groups do not have the same forward thinking. Like, I think people vastly underestimate the amount of homophobia there is in the country. They dramatically underestimate it.
The kind of serious change that we need to see. But instead, you've got Karen Bass just worrying about her own re-election next year for mayor of Los Angeles after the disaster of the wildfires. Gavin Newsom clearly focused on running for president. We need someone who's going to deal with our problems in California.
So I'm looking at what you gave me, the California governor statewide polls, sample size 2012 registered voters. This is a big poll. Steve Hilton leading by 19% over Katie Porter. It's tight with her until you factor in those people who can't quite make up their minds.
Especially whenever you all the LGBTQ stuff going on right now. Yeah. Do you think we'll see a woman president or first LGBT president first? I think woman president's much more likely. I do. Marriage got legalized in like 2015 or something, and women have been able to vote for almost 100 years. So no, and I do think also, again, and this follows voting as well, because like black men were able to vote before white women were.
Those undecided, you say there's about 30% of the electorate out there that hasn't made up their minds. Then the gap between you and Katie Porter gets greater. You factor in Kamala Harris, Katie Porter falls to third place, and you and Kamala are battling it out. So talk to me. I don't know that those candidates that I'm looking at here are attacking any of the things that we're reporting on.
No.
I mean, everything that Emily just set up, I don't see it coming from them.
No, and the interesting thing is that we've had 15 years now of one-party rule in California, and the results are there. It's the worst results on everything that matters, the highest housing costs. I could go on all hour about everything that's gone wrong, but of course what people want is someone to put things right, a positive change, and I think that's what people are responding to, and what's encouraging. Look, it's very early. You know, the election is next June. We've barely begun campaigning, but what's really clear is that I'm there as the leading challenger. With whatever the scenario is, whether it's Kamala Harris or Katie Porter, any of these people, I'm the leading challenger to this 15 years of one-party rule. By the way, it'll be a big thing for the country if we can save California. We're the fourth biggest economy in the world. Imagine how far we could power.
It's actually crazy how big California is. I mean, California is the biggest economy in the entire country for sure. It has the most people in it also. So, like, that's one of the really big reasons why it's important that California doesn't totally turn into a fucking a PvP server, right? Do you think Republicans have a shot at winning California? I don't think so. I actually don't. I don't think so. I don't think things have gotten bad enough. Like, I mean, that's my honest answer is no. But I think that it will trend in that direction. But who knows what's going to happen in like 5 years, right? I have no idea. Or 10 years. Give it 10 more years at most, maybe, right?
Again, with real positive leadership.
Well, it's also just bringing sanity back to California and the country. And what happened at these farms in California, these pot farms, is the definition of insanity. And it gives you a perspective on the Democrat Party's worldview where heroes are villains and villains are heroes. Let's look at the play-by-play. So on July 10th, you have ICE and other federal authorities go and raid these pot farms. They arrest at least 360 illegal aliens, 14 children they found that they were worried about that have been rescued from potential exploitation, forced labor, and human trafficking. 10 were unaccompanied. And then, by the way, some of these individuals they arrested, guess what they've been convicted of? You've got rape, child molestation, kidnapping during the operation, according to DHS. So instead of saying, hey, look, that's really good, right? Let's praise ICE officials for saving these children, rescuing these children. What
no, so, some of these people, like, it's crazy that it even happens. It really is. Like, I can't even believe this shit.
You had hundreds go in protest, including, attacking federal agents, firing a gun at a federal agent, and then you have a congressman accused of doxing one of the ICE agents as well. On top of it, and then, oh, by the way, just to sum it all up, the owner of the pot farm donated.
Well, how's somebody convicted of rape and a DUI and they're not in jail?
I'm gonna get some revenge.
I mean, because these are, like, this is kind of what I was saying before, is like, if these people are convicted and nothing happens to them, like, this is, like, these are federal laws, right? I mean, like, raping people, like, these are federal charges in a lot of these cases. How is it that nothing ever happens? Like, and this is the reason why also I think that they have a justification to just cut off funding. Because, like, they're not following the federal law.
This is real firepower.
The Democrats. Does that not tell you everything about today's Democrat Party and what's wrong with this party?
And Rosanna, we've seen polls just recently that reflect that the majority of Americans across the board now support illegal immigration deportation in addition to those with criminal records. So the fact that you have these state officials that are refusing to work with ICE officials, that are straight up obstructing the federal government in their execution of these duties that were a mandate by the American people, and you contrast that with the will of the people, it's horrifying.
I mean, you look at Mayor Bass, right? She's offering gift cards out. She's not saying exactly how much is on those gift cards. She doesn't know. She doesn't know? Wow.
By the way, like, yeah, that's kind of a good point. Like, you don't even know how much money is going to be on the card. What the fuck? Like, aren't you supposed to be in charge of this? You don't even know what's going on? Pam Bondi is right to arrest a lot of people in the government. She plays defense, not offense. She's terrible. Yeah, I think so. And that's really what the problem is that judges and DAs need to be visited by the same people they willingly let loose among the citizenry. No, I just think they need to be arrested. It's very simple. Like, if they're letting these people loose and they're doing this, then why aren't they being recused or recalled? Because that's really what I would do.
Harris, do you think she doesn't know? She knows she's giving out gift cards, but she doesn't know how much is on the gift cards. Another way to keep some of those people, hidden. And the city of Los Angeles, $1 billion in debt.
Amazing. And she's handing out free money to people who are illegally here.
And Steve, and then let's not forget about the people that were, ravaged by the wildfires. I'm not talking about the celebrities. They'll be fine. I'm sure their insurance will work at some point. But there were real working class neighborhoods that were there for generations after generations that need help. Where are they? Nothing's been done in those areas.
See, that's what's crazy to me about it, is that, like, she's giving this money out to people that are just, like, not even, they're afraid of having the federal law enforced on them, and you're using resources to help them instead of helping the people who had their house burned down. Think about how ridiculous that is. That's crazy. The amount of obstruction of ICE, doxing, 20K officers. I mean, like, again, the reason, how do you prove that, do you need to prove that you're illegal? How do you need to prove you have taxpayer support? I have no idea. Yeah, I mean, California and Oregon are both sanctuary states. I get my updates and device about ICE agent locations through local Google News. Well, yeah, but I mean, like, again, like, if the federal government was aggressive enough, they could make that stuff happen. But I think that, and this is one of the reasons why I'm very frustrated with them, is that I don't think that they are extreme and aggressive enough towards especially institutions and people in high political positions. I actually think that the American public wants to see governors go to jail. I think they want to see big companies have, like, their board of directors get arrested. I think they want to see that happen. And I think Trump should give the people what they want. Yes, I do. Exactly. Like, the mayors, like, these people, like the police chiefs that are letting this happen. Exactly. Fuck yeah, accountability. Like, I think people want legitimate, and I think that really, if you look at how angry and how vitriolic everybody is about the Epstein situation, I think that really goes to prove what I'm saying. people are tired of it. They're tired of it at a large scale. And I actually think that if you did that to them, yeah, you'd have some people that are saying that they're martyrs, but that's fine. Let them be martyrs.
Hell unleashed!
Yeah, that would never happen. They're too busy blaming illegal immigrants for the country's problems.
Things are gonna be
When I see people held accountable for their actions regardless of positions, yeah, I want its big companies to have a portion of their assets seized. Yeah, exactly. Like, so if I was, like, for example,
relay deployed. It ain't cheap.
like if I was in charge of this, what would I do? I would take this guy. Maybe not him, but whoever is in charge of him, whoever owns the area. And I would figure out who was hiring these illegal aliens and who was aware that this was happening. And every single person that had knowledge of this happening, I would immediately arrest and put in jail for human trafficking. Because you knew and you were employing and you were facilitating the human trafficking of children. You were doing this. Put them all in jail. Seize all of their assets. And then you're done. That's it. They're gone. Yeah, who had to get paid. Yeah, and that's what you do. That's how you solve it. Public discretion. No, you just put them in jail. Like, I mean, there's nothing. You don't have to do anything else insane like that. Like, you just put them in jail. You can't do that in blue states? Of course you can.
Who are you calling a raccoon?
You can do whatever you want.
You'll need a top-notch
You're the federal
team to
government.
win
Like,
this one.
you really think that they can't figure out a way to get around that?
Generations that need help. Where are they? Nothing's been done in those areas, Steve.
They don't even talk about it.
And people are and the really awful thing, just very briefly, is that people are giving up. The bureaucracy, the insurance, the nightmare, they're giving up, they're abandoning, and then that means you're going to lose the
It would
single...
stop immediately in other places too. Yeah, because like one thing that people don't talk a lot about is that a lot of people are probably already self-deported. Like they've already left the country after they've seen these ICE raids happening everywhere. Because if you self-deport, you get $1,000 and you can come back to the U.S.
30 seconds before
So
your
if you
attack.
give people
Get
a
ready.
lifeline and you say, hey, you know, it's okay, you can leave now, but you have to leave, that's it. They're going to roach out. No, they haven't. Of course they have. Do you really think that people aren't doing that? Of course they aren't.
family homes, they want to build apartments and destroy the California dream. It's awful.
Yeah.
So different.
The smart
Yeah,
dudes,
Florida
yeah,
will
of course.
take them.
Yeah.
My home state of Arizona will take them.
Well, it's not too late for California, thanks to leadership like you and your mission and your vision.
That's the plan.
That's the plan.
Go, Steve.
I think it's too late. At least for a while for that. First time business owner gets executed on his front lawn, the rest are going to hire high schoolers instead. Well, the first time, I mean, I'm not saying execute them, right? Like, I mean, I'm not even saying that. I'm being reasonable. But like what I'm saying in general is that if you have these people that are doing this stuff, I'll link you guys the video. If you have the people that are doing this, Fox News isn't real news. Well, I mean, who cares? If everything they said in there was a lie, I think that the problem still exists and it still is the same issue that I'm discussing right now. And what I'm really trying to get at here is that, again, let me see if I read this real quick. Chimpanzee cages, it is reasonable. Yeah, you just need to put the business owners in jail. And until you put the business owners in jail, then nothing else is going to happen or be solved. I don't know why or how this has started happening, but there's been floods everywhere. Look at this. Like, we're actually like, this is floodwater in the New York subway. Everywhere is flooding.
No, we shouldn't. We should get out of the street.
Somebody said that's not a flood, it's the anti-homeless cleaning system. I don't know about that. I'm sure some of them can swim. And they, oh shit, it's even in there. Oh my god. Holy shit, yeah, this, how many floods are happening? Look at this. The trapped commuters? Look at that. Oh my god, heavy rain as well. Yeah, it was raining like crazy here in Texas for a while. Can you actually die in the metro? I mean, I'm pretty sure it can happen. Yeah, definitely. The weather weapons are Republican now? You think so? Do you think they realize that we caught on to wildfires now and it's just gonna be floods? So before we had Jewish space lasers causing fires, and now we have Jewish cloud seeding Yeah, and they're causing rain. That could definitely be it. Yeah, I feel like that's probably. I'd say there's at least a 1% chance that that's true, right? Probably a 90. I'd say probably a 99% chance, for sure, guys. Oh yeah. The whole thing is like this. Oh my god. Did you have any leaks in your house? Let me think. Did I? No. We got a new roof like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So there's no leaks. It's empty already? Yeah, it's insane. Like I wonder, like, because I've been seeing a lot of this everywhere. There's been like all kinds of flooding happening all over the country. You leak from your house? Yeah. Nobody forgot the last time you said something was probably 99% true? I remember that. People got so mad over that. Holy fuck.
I can't stay here.
That's insane. Yeah, Wild Cool Water Ride. Yeah, this is at Six Flags, guys. It's crazy that the trains are still even running, too. Oh my god. Yeah, I wonder if this has ever happened before. This smell? Yeah. When they get shocked? I don't think so. Or is it floating rats? That's a good question. I wonder. Well, I guess actually they probably just go to higher ground. Jesus, look at that. The alligators? I don't think they have any alligators in there. Yeah, they just have illegal aliens. There's water going everywhere. Holy shit. Look at that. Bro, if this was me, unless I had to like go to work or something, I would just be leaving, bro. Like,
brought flash flooding
look at this.
across New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania Monday night.
That's 3 different
At one
states.
Point, New York City received 2 inches of rain in 30 minutes. Its second highest hourly rainfall total since 1943.
Maybe this is God punishing us for not releasing the Epstein files.
In Midtown Manhattan, subway riders watched
must be
surging floodwater gush onto the station platform and into the train. Flooding also shut down the Bronx River Parkway in Yonkers, New York, filling
I don't know why Trump
feet of water. And in New Jersey, up to 6.5 inches of rain fell in the hardest hit areas. 2 people died in Plainfield when floodwater struck their car.
Holy fuck.
New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy declared a state of emergency Monday night due to the flash floods and heavy rainfall.
You know, last night we got crushed, not just here in Berkeley Heights, but in this part of the state in particular.
By Tuesday, storms had pushed through, but flooding still remained in some
Yeah,
areas.
bro, that causes like millions of dollars. Oh my god. Wait, this is from a while ago. Never mind. That's from 2021. Oh, so this does happen sometimes. Holy shit. Wait. This is New York? What? No, this is 2025, bro. Like the other one was 20.
I've watched entire realities. Just 30 seconds. I won't let that happen again.
It's the whirlpool, yeah. You thought I was joking when I said about the Jews in Israel control the weather? I hoped you were joking. Look at all this. God damn. Driver rescued from flooding in New Jersey. Look at that, bro. He just got him out.
1, 2, 2. Well, you can't expect to win them all.
Oh my god. Of course. No. Bro. Do you remember that one time that kid was in, what was it? Fucking the hurricane in Florida. and he said he would go live, and Aiden Ross said he would pay somebody $20,000 to go live, and then Aiden didn't want to pay him. Do you remember that? And like, this kid is like fucking, he's trying to like survive in a hurricane. He's like next to a tree on like a little floaty donut. It's like, Aiden, what do you mean he's not gonna pay me? What do you mean? And then the fucking camera turns off. Oh god, to pay him 10K, yeah. New Jersey flood versus these 4 guys.
Which hero do you think you
Oh wow, look at that. Oh my god.
You don't have to be a
We didn't have any of this here in Austin, really. I mean, there was a bit of it, but not a whole lot. And this is the same one that we already saw before, but yeah, I don't even know what to say. I wonder if this is because of and there's another one there too, but that was from a long time ago. And I don't know what's causing this, man. I really don't. Like, this is probably the reason why people think climate change is happening too. Like, I guarantee you, like, that's probably what's going on with this. And climate's fine, if not in the area of Austin. Yeah, maybe. Where are the cloud seeding machines located? I don't know, man. Are you gonna tell me that it's Israel? I have no idea. And yeah, the torrential downpours, holy fuck, man. Yeah, and it's just, there's so much of this, like, what the fuck? It's just oh wow. Damn. Okay, well, you know, I hope they know how to swim. I'll tell you that. That's really fucking bad. And this is also for wait, this is in a totally different place. Bro, he's literally just driving through the water. Holy fuck. Look at all this. That's Maryland? It says Virginia. Look at all that. I've never seen it get this bad ever before. Like, it was like kind of bad like this when I was one time in 6th grade and we got stuck in the school, and I remember I had to stay in the school until like fucking 8 p.m. And then I remember, like, finally after all the rain and the flooding kind of like stopped enough to where like my mom could take me home, I was so mad because they had closed the Taco Bell and we couldn't even get Taco Bell on the way home. It was pretty much one of the worst days. But yeah, apparently this has happened in the past, but like, this looks worse than any of the other previous times for sure. Yeah, this looks really bad. Holy fucking shit. No, yeah, I was pissed, bro. Like, because I honestly, like, my mom would take me to Taco Bell constantly. Like, I'm telling you guys, like, pretty much every single, like, that was the place that we would go. Okay, let me just say that. Is this Texas or Florida? No, it's not. And let's see here. And city, like, let me see if I can show you guys how common this is. City flood USA. Look at how many of these are happening. This is in New York. What the fuck? Yeah. Oh my god. Every 10 years in Texas? Yeah, it's a maelstrom. I know. It's a whole lot. You aren't affected by climate as much? No, we don't have really hardly anything. Yeah, no, there's been flooding everywhere in the entire fucking country recently. Like, I don't know really what this is, but like, let me see if I can find some of the other ones here too. And across the East Coast, yeah, this is even more of it here.
Michael, not only water rescues in this area, but a home behind me that exploded overnight. You can still see the fire.
Don't you have tornadoes in Texas? Not in Austin.
They were spraying water.
Oh, there's no tornadoes.
I am ready to put on a show. But I was talking to neighbors who live there and live in this area.
I mean, like,
they say that they are used to flooding.
We've had tornado warnings before, but like, I've lived here 35 years. No tornadoes ever.
Area to get out to safety before all of this happened.
Overnight, more than 50 million.
Yeah, it's never.
The East Coast hit with torrential downpours.
It's raining in Sweden. Well, I'm not really saying about it. It raining is not the same thing as what we're talking about, right?
Fear their train stopped.
Like, it's not really that.
Rainwater
Polar ice caps have halved over the last 40 years. That's because of geoengineering. Humans cannot change the weather. No, guys, you have to understand. Climate change can't happen. It's impossible for climate change to happen. Oh, jeez.
You really couldn't see?
God damn.
Under a state of emergency.
Holy shit.
Stalling out in floodwaters in Plainfield.
Yep.
First responders helping drivers out of their cars.
Jesus.
For a water rescue, be advised we are in storm mode at this time.
Storm mode?
30 people rescued by boats after their homes began to flood.
Oh my God.
Forced to wade through the rising floodwaters. In Pennsylvania, parts of US 30 impassable, blocking traffic in both directions. The intense storm wreaking havoc both on the ground and in the air.
Wow.
Canceled or delayed, creating a travel nightmare for passengers like Savannah Sparrow.
Bro, like, I've been at the airport and, like, I've had my flight canceled. I think that if I ever went to hell, it would be an airport. That would be it. It would be a fucking airport. Like, I hate airports so much, bro. Like, I hate, that's the one thing I don't like. Airports are hell. Yeah, they're so fucking annoying, man. Like, it's purgatory. Yeah, that would be putting me in purgatory, exactly. And so, yeah, this stuff has been happening, and it's also not even just in the U.S. It's in other places too, honestly. And that's what I think is so crazy about this in general. It's like everything. And so, yeah, you've been trying to get your lottery money, get your bank info wrong. Yeah, right. That whole thing. And so do you think the end of the world is near? No, I don't think the end of the world is near or anything like that. No, I think that honestly, this is just, it's hard to say whether stuff like this happening is because of a, what do you call it? It's because of like climate change, or it's just like natural, like a reaction. But either way, it's still pretty fucking insane. Eat a salad, go to the airport? No, I just hate going to the airport. I hate being in the airport, anything like that. It's just so fucking annoying to me. Are they getting rid of them? What the hell is this? Because, like, the Dollar Trees, shit there is still $1. You can buy, like a toenail clippings there for $1 for each one.
But that should not stop us from trying to achieve it. There are over 36,000 dollar stores across the U.S. That's more than one store for every 10,000 people. These companies have long been Wall Street.
During the Great Recession in 2009, 2010, both Dollar General and Dollar Tree were two of the best performing stocks in the S&P 500 for those 2 years.
The share price for Dollar Tree and Dollar General, two biggest
That's
players
really
in
good.
space,
Holy shit.
outpaced the S&P 500.
God damn.
Jumping over 1,500% between 2008 and 2022.
Wow.
But over the past 2 years, the stocks of both companies have plummeted. And the outlook, at least in the near term, isn't showing promising signs of recovery.
They ruin communities.
This pretty good growth over a period of decades, but in the last decade we've added about 50% more stores, and that's caused a number of challenges.
Dollar General and Dollar Tree have both cut guidance recently, which set off alarm bells for investors.
So what's happened to dollar stores? And what do these companies need to do to get back on track?
You know, I'll tell you what the fuck happened is that I go to the dollar store and it's not $1. Straight up. Like, that might sound stupid, but like if I go to the dollar store and something's $7,
there's still so much to do.
it's like back in the day, you go to Dollar Tree, you try to find something that's more than $1. Now you go to Dollar Tree, you try to find something that is $1. It's crazy. Life always triumphs. What they need to do is they need to pull a page out of the Wendy's cookbook. Go ahead and rename the Dollar General to Value General. And that way you can charge $3.29 for small fries again. Yeah. I blame Biden.
Dollar General, Dollar Tree, and Family Dollar are the three largest brands in the space. Dollar Tree owns both Family Dollar and its namesake brand. In fiscal 2023, the two companies brought in nearly $70 billion in combined revenue.
That's
All
a
three
lot.
brands have thousands of stores across the country, but target very different areas and demographics. Dollar Tree sells a lot of
Yeah, I went to this
seasonal
one.
and discretionary items, think wrapping paper and toys, typically in suburban strip malls. The Family Dollar chain, which the company acquired in 2015 for $9 billion, is generally found in more urban areas. Meanwhile, Dollar General focuses on a primarily rural customer base.
The roots of Dollar
God damn. Bro, imagine living here. Like, that's crazy. Yeah, that's a lot of dots. Yeah. There's one on every corner. That's insane.
stores were in rural America, outer suburbs of metro markets. It was sort of the places where there wasn't sort of the big established value retail presence.
A key thing to understand about dollar stores is that their main goal is to be an affordable place to shop with whatever set budget you have. Not necessarily the best value for your money. For example, this box of 15 dryer sheets is $1.25. It's a better quote-unquote deal to go up the road to Target and get a box of 240 of them for $10. But
remember what I said earlier? It's actually crazy.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
This is exactly what I fucking said. Fucking exactly. That's 100% what it is. People can't buy in bulk if they're broke.
$10 is your entire budget for the trip to the store. It makes more sense to go to the dollar.
I'm just saying this.
On the outside, these types of stores may not look so bad. From 2019 to 2023, sales have increased by about 30% for Dollar Tree and about 40% for Dollar General.
It's real good.
In the same time period, these companies have added over 5,000 stores. New stores will naturally increase revenues, but that can mask slow sales growth at existing locations.
But you can't just keep building more stores. Like, eventually you're going to hit saturation point. It's not like I remember I learned this in WoW, and I was like, how can I'm not going to sell all these in 24 hours on the auction house. Like, what am I doing? Yeah, there's too many of them.
Companies can say, you know, well, we're still growing revenues nicely. Both companies are saying they're taking market share. And these are all true statements, but when you really drill down to where you're taking share, like at a per store basis, and that's where you would suggest that perhaps they are losing some share.
High inflationary times disproportionately affect lower-income consumers. Dollar General's core customer base, which is households earning less than $35,000 per year, contribute to about 60% of its overall sales.
We're in a strange time where the job market is still relatively strong, and that means middle and upper income households don't feel that same level of pressure to turn to a different store or to shop dramatically different than their everyday habits. At the same time, the core customer, those lower income customers that rely on dollar stores, are getting even more selective and are tending to buy things like food that just tend to be lower margin.
Lower margin?
Yeah, people can't afford to buy little bits of bullshit anymore. It's actually crazy how bad it is for the working class. Like, that's one of the things to me that's like so shocking, that so many people that are like in the working and lower class don't ever realize how bad it is and try to vote in their own best interest. Being poor is expensive, bro. It's actually like and here's the thing, is like, now that I have money, there's like all of these things that I get for free. Like, there's tons of like advantages and opportunities and little incentives that you have if you have money. And you guys know this, right? Like, any of you guys make over like 100K a year. Like, you know that like there's PCs, yeah, you know, get a free PC. And you get free stuff, exactly. And so, like, you see where that comes in. And it's not just like, oh, it's because you're a streamer. Like, if you're making a good amount of money, there are a lot of things that you just simply do not have to worry about. The rich person has more disposable income to invest into as well. Well, yeah, exactly. And so because that money is being invested and it's keeping up with the inflation in a better way, their wages are not. So it's like the more money that you're spending out of your wage on direct prices and direct things, that's kind of like, it kind of falls into the same category of understanding why a sales tax is actually a tax more on the poor. It's a progressive tax on the poor, which is a whole different conversation. But if you've been broke and you haven't been able to like afford stuff, you'd know that things like, you know what it's like? If you're broke, when you're trying to run, it's like you're playing quad.
Current score is 3-2.
You have to move every knee and every shin and every finger and every foot and make sure you don't move too far or too up. Same analogy. Have I used this one before? I don't even know if I have. But like, yeah. So you're playing quad. Is it? Is it? That's it. Yes. And so every single thing, it's like playing a survival game. Everything matters. Like you have your, instead of your hunger gauge, you've got your, well, you have your hunger gauge, and then instead of your water gauge, it's your gas gauge. Like how many of you guys have experienced anxiety with basically having to drive somewhere that's far away and the financial strain that will put on your money because of gas?
Never stop fighting for what I believe is right.
Yeah, you're playing solo self-found. It's nuts. Yeah, every day? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, will my car make it? That's another really big factor too. It's like being able, and that's another thing, is that there's a lot of like health anxiety things that like people that are poor have, that like people that are even middle class or well off don't even know exist, right? So like for example, if your car fucking like the absolute fucking stress when your car stops working
Battle starts in 5,
and you're broke.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Now what?
Control.
Fucking now
You need
what?
to stop that vehicle in its tracks.
Dude, it's intense. That's so bad. Like I remember I was at like some grocery store and I remember my car stopped working there and I was so stressed out I walked all the way home. I didn't even ask anybody to pick me up. I just walked all the way home with my groceries. It was fucking bad, man. Car didn't start immediately. Heart attack? Yeah. How many of you guys like have had to like your car do something weird and then panic attack? Fuck, right? Absolutely. Is shit stressful? Yeah. Really bad.
They're less profitable, but food and household items have become increasingly important to the dollar store customer.
Yeah.
In its 2024 second quarter earnings call, Dollar General said it's decreased its non-consumable inventory by 13% versus last year. The effect of inflation is also apparent at Dollar Tree stores whose long differentiated strategy was a
actually
store-wide $1 price point.
Yep.
In 2021, that changed.
It's no longer Dollar Tree, it's Value Tree.
Just take a step back and think about
Value Tree, that's
sort of
great.
magic around a retail box where everything is $1.
Yeah.
And if you have 8 items in your basket, it's going to cost you
$8.
And now you move to $1.25. It reduces some of that magic overall, and
It does.
Sounds silly, but
It does, because it's not $1. It's called Dollar General. It's $1.25. That's not. It's not $1.25 General. It's not $1.25 Tree. It's Dollar Tree.
I'm opening a portal.
False fucking advertising.
it confuses the shopping experience, makes it a little more complex.
Real bad. Some of the dollar store's lackluster financial results can be pointed to the conditions of its physical stores.
Just as less desirable.
Oh, these places are shitholes. Like, I'm telling you, I've been to the Dollar Tree. I've never been to a single Dollar Tree that wasn't a shithole. Like, every single one of them are. But, like, that's fine. Like, you go to the Dollar Tree, you going into a shithole. That's just the way it is. They're ghetto, all of them. Absolutely they are. Yes. There are boxes everywhere, everything like that. Like, you got, like, they've got, like, soda in the back that, like, look at this. 2021. The fuck?
I mean, the whole idea is dollar stores are convenient, but if you go there, there's only one cash register open, and there's 8 people in line, it takes 10, 15 minutes.
Y'all ever seen the videos of the people getting in fights at Dollar Tree lines? Oh my god.
It's illegal.
Yeah.
Or sometimes the proximity aisles, you can't even get down the aisle.
So my stocking is literally overflowed and look like this. Okay.
Yes. Absolutely. Yep.
Customers notice
Mine
when a
does.
company is not minding the store. They see that there are boxes that are cluttering aisles. They notice that the item they want is out of stock. And so they may decide to go elsewhere. And Dollar Tree and Dollar General have been...
I'm gonna be real. If you're broke, you're not gonna go and be like, there's boxes that are around. I'm not gonna Target instead. I don't see anybody doing that. Like maybe I'm sure like somebody does that. Somebody's done that. But like as like a user behavior, customer behavior, I don't see that.
having execution problems that have contributed to a tougher economic backdrop.
Inventory challenges were especially apparent during the pandemic. These smaller sized, more affordable products normally found at dollar stores were deprioritized by manufacturers.
Customers that were then going into the stores, even if they found a store that was operationally looked at, the store was now very different. They didn't have some of the items that were the reason that they went to the discount center.
Understaffing?
Yeah, those items, like those items are effectively like loss leader items. Those are the ones that get people in the store. Those are the ones like, yeah, I want to go there for detergent because I can't afford to pay like $11 or $12 for Tide.
Also became more apparent. The dollar store playbook has historically operated on a lean labor model. That has long created problems for both companies.
What they mean to say by lean labor model is that there's only one checkout line available, and it's the person who started working there last week.
But during the pandemic,
and self-checkout is closed.
When COVID hit, the government was paying out subsidies, and there was a situation where lots of employees just opted out, didn't go to work, they didn't eat. And so then you got into this situation where, you know, the stores started to fall over.
Dollar General and Dollar Tree have also faced
49 people have been killed at Dollar General stores since 2014. That doesn't really tell me a lot. How many people have been killed at KFC? Probably more than that. What about McDonald's? That's not that many people. Like, we're acting like this is a big deal. It's 50 people. That's like, like what, 2 people a year?
Only
5
60
people a
seconds
year.
left.
Numerous worker safety violations in their stores over the past decade. In the beginning of 2024, Family Dollar was
Oh, nah, bro. Employees have been stabbed, fatally shot, held at gunpoint, punched, and pistol whipped on the job. This is such bullshit to blame this on Dollar General. Get the fuck out of here. Like, Dollar Generals are going to be popular in low-income areas. And in low-income areas, crime is going to be more popular because people don't have the money to afford the food. So, of course, you're going to have more people that are going to have interactions with criminals there. Like, it's the community. Yeah, so they need security. I agree that they need security. I do. That's not what causes crime. You think that not having... You think people rob... Why aren't there a bunch of rich people breaking into Walmart and stealing everything out of it? They don't do that. It's poor people that do that because they don't have the money. What, are you fucking retarded? Of course people steal things because they don't have money.
over $41 million for rodent-infested warehouses. Family Dollar has been a burden for the Dollar Tree brand ever since its acquisition back in 2015.
It was really supposed to be sort of the Dollar General fighter. The challenge was that Family Dollar had always been the weakest of the dollar stores. It was never as profitable. It never grew as much.
Well, because it fell off, bro. Like, it fell off. Like, I remember back, like, Dollar Tree started popping up in, like, 2005. Somewhere around there. And I remember my mom and we would go to Dollar General. Or like, you know, Family Dollar. And both of them were dog shit compared to Dollar Tree. Because even in 2005, Family Dollar was trying to put shit up there for $3. Then we go to Dollar Tree, everything's actually a fucking dollar. So yeah, that's the big difference. That's what happened in shitification, exactly.
Because the management of Family Dollar knew that it was going to be sold, they stopped investing in lots of things.
Yeah.
So even today, I mean, you're seeing, you know, outdated technology systems, outdated distribution centers, DCs that don't have air conditioning, you know, HVAC systems at stores that are falling apart. So these are long legacy issues.
Can you fucking imagine that? Like, you're like working there, you're dealing with like people trying to fucking kill you. and then you can't even get AC. Oh God.
That Dollar Tree just didn't make the proper investments in, despite now in their 9th year of ownership.
Family Dollar is the only one of the 3 brands that has seen a decline in foot traffic from 2019 to 2024.
Because it's not a Family Dollar, it's Family Dollars. Like, that's the reason why.
Now, who am I gonna
They fell off.
And now Dollar Tree wants to get rid of it. But aside from the internal struggles that these companies are grappling with, Walmart has also become a major problem for them.
When you go back to the Great Recession and the dollar stores were doing well, Walmart was not putting up strong same-store sales growth. I think that's where there was trading away from Walmart and moving more to the dollar stores. The opposite seems to be happening today.
Yeah, because the Walmart prices were higher than the dollar stores back then, and now they're about the same. That's the problem. Anybody that's been to these places knows that.
Growth. They're gaining share of that lower middle income wallet, and they're bringing in newer middle and upper income consumers.
Walmart is keenly aware of how good these dollar stores have been for a long time, and have learned a lot from them as well.
90% of Americans live within 10 miles of a Walmart store. To put the impact of Walmart into context, the retail giant increased its U.S. sales by about $4.5 billion in its most recent quarter.
What is that, like 1% though?
That's about 4% higher than the year prior.
Oh,
it's also about half the amount of Dollar General's total sales last quarter.
Damn.
And about 60% of Dollar Tree's total sales.
Yeah, Walmart's fucking
massive. A big
massive.
part of the retail giant's recent success is due to its investment in e-commerce.
A lot
of people just buy things online now. I think that's also another really big component, is that like online shopping has become way more popular. And so like now, like we have a local grocery store, it's called H-E-B. And at the local grocery store, everywhere, like all you have to do is you just put in an order and then they deliver it to your car if you want to do that. Like I'll go in and just shop because like, I don't know, like I wonder if like when I'm like 70 years old, am I going to be like one of those boomers that like goes in, it's like, oh, I don't have a cell phone now, right? Something like that. Am I going to be like a, you know, the Luddite or something like that person? But either way, shopping remotely, yeah, I like to go in, sure. And but we used to have, you know, food delivered, right? My mom would have it delivered as well, but I don't really do that. Anyway, point is that a lot of people are doing this, and Walmart also offers it. Like, at your Walmart, do they have like that area? Usually it's like on the side of the store where they like take the food out and they'll like give it to you. Because like that's what they have for us. Where like if you go nearby, they'll like, yeah, exactly, the pickup. And like Dollar General and like Dollar Tree don't have that.
Legacy brick-and-mortar companies like a Walmart, Home Depot,
That's a really
Best
good point.
Buy.
Yeah.
I like to say they made about 5 years of e-com and digital investments in about 12 to 18 months during COVID. So the digital capabilities of a lot of companies have also gotten a lot better in recent years.
Dollar stores,
Well, they're adapting to what consumers want. Consumers don't want to have to go inside to the store because people value their time differently now. And I think time is seen more as a currency. And I think that what's caused time to be seen more as a currency is the amount of apps that allow you to save time. Like things like Uber, Uber Eats, DoorDash, stuff like that. All of those things give you the ability to like realize that I can spend a little bit more money and then save that time.
So the investments you have to make to pull off a larger online business have not been able to move as quickly in those ways.
Dollar General says that the middle and upper income consumers have become more engaged in e-commerce, and those customers may not be trading down to dollar stores like they used to. Beyond e-commerce,
and another component for this too that some people might not know about is that Amazon has something, I think it's called like Amazon Pantry, where if you order enough food from Amazon, that they will ship all of that food to you for no delivery fee directly to your house. I think it's like over $100 or $200 or something like that. Amazon Fresh, yeah, I don't know. I remember I thought it was called Pantry, I'm not sure. But and so it's not just from Walmart, it's also from the online retailers as well. It used to be 100, yeah, that's what it was. My mom would do it before.
First, another consideration is Dollar Store's heavy investment in its grocery offering. At the same time, discount grocery companies like the European chain Aldi are growing rapidly in the U.S. Its location count has increased by about 1,000 stores over the past decade.
I've never even seen one.
I think Aldi and Lidl are a lot more important than the financial media tends to think they are, because they're privately owned and they're small stores and they don't have the profile that Walmart or Amazon has. But there are thousands of Aldis, and those are almost always in the same markets that the dollar stores are.
Even as inflation normalizes, dollar stores are not well positioned to benefit.
We have lower interest rates, and the consumer is...
Well, they're inconvenient. That's another thing. It's like you go inside to the store, you can't order online. There's no AC. There's crackheads. Boxes are everywhere. You get the stuff. It's basically the same price as Walmart. You go to checkout. Checkout, self-checkout's closed. There's only one person in the line. There's 8 people in front of you. Fuck that. And there's one employee. Yeah.
That or next year, the consumers will be buying more discretionary.
It's a PvP zone?
Good. So
yeah.
The fundamentals
Dollar
get
Tree
a little
is.
bit better for the dollar stores with consumer spending. But you'll see other retailers outperform because they're more exposed to the discretionary merchandise.
Look at the merchandise breakdown for the 3 major dollar store brands. Dollar General and Family Dollar are both about 80% consumable items. Dollar Tree has far more discretionary items.
Dollar Tree has all kinds of bits of bullshit. So much random bullshit at Dollar Tree. Like if you want to find like a blue pineapple, like it's made out of plastic, you go to Dollar Tree, it will be there. If you want to get like a thing that has like you know, like deer antlers on your head, you will go to Dollar Tree, it will be there.
President-elect Donald Trump ran his campaign pushing for higher tariffs on goods imported from China. That will affect Dollar Tree especially, as the chain imports over 40% of its merchandise, mostly from China. That's much higher than its other brands, Family Dollar, and its competitor, Dollar General. Plus, its fixed price $1.25 model means margins would be squeezed even tighter. The chain is focused on introducing more multi-priced items to increase spending at its...
Are you fucking kidding me? Ups the mass price to $7. $7 fucking dollars. Are you kidding me? That's insane. $1 equals $7. Why do they even? Yes. Why would you go here? Might as well go to Target at that point. Yeah, bro. Like that's Target prices. Not even Walmart.
That core Dollar Tree model has a really nice niche. Everything's $1.25. So you get special deals from suppliers. You start selling brand items at $2, $3, $4. Those are the same items.
Who the fuck goes to Dollar Tree to spend $5 on Valentine's Day bullshit? Of course, this is insane. Fuck, you get it at Walgreens for less than that.
Or at grocery stores or at Walmart. And so maybe a sales lift, but also maybe longer term competition.
The minimum salary threshold to qualify for overtime pay is set to increase on January 1st, 2025.
The dollar stores, store managers, small box, oftentimes in rural, lower cost living locations, oftentimes make less than $59,000 on a salary basis. So,
well, that's what they do is they have somebody, they put somebody from hourly to salary, and they say, we're going to pay you a lot more money, and you have to be here 85 hours a week.
If this rule change goes through, it would cause expense pressure on the dollar store for both banners.
Another consideration for future success is leadership. Dollar General's CEO is on his second stint running the company. Dollar Tree CEO announced he was stepping down at the start of November 2024. A Dollar Tree spokesperson told CNBC, Dollar Tree and Family Dollar play a vital role in providing high-quality, low-priced items that help our shoppers do more for less. With new leadership, we are continuing on our journey to transform the business and position ourselves as a leader in the workplace and associate safety through meaningful investments. Dollar General declined CNBC's request for an interview or comment. With succession planning and economic uncertainty a question mark for both companies, it's increasingly clear that getting these dollar store businesses back on track is going to require a multifaceted approach.
Dollar stores are
They have to be cheaper. They have to be cheaper and more convenient. And right now, they're not. Like most people, not most people, but a lot of people have like something like Amazon Prime where they can get like, you know, food delivered or something like that. And having Amazon Prime, it might seem like a luxury thing, but if it's $100 over a whole year, there are a lot of people that are, you know, working class that have that.
With a mix of self-inflicted problems and also problems that they're contending with because the macroeconomic environment is just a lot tougher. You know, people who shop at dollar stores tend to have less income, and so they are going to for every push and pull of the economy. But at the same time, these retailers have to get their stores back in line and to draw back shoppers and build more loyalty. They need to mind the store.
Yeah. You can go on Shein and AliExpress and get the same junk at better quality. Yeah, I think that's what happens. Like, in my opinion, I think this shit's just too expensive because what's happening to dollar stores is what's happening to fast food restaurants. Is that back in the day, you could get a meal at a McDonald's for $6 or you could get a meal at Chili's for $15. Now, you can get a meal at McDonald's for $12 or a meal at Chili's for $18. The fact is that, like, the difference and like the competitive advantage that like fast food used to have doesn't exist as much anymore. And I think that the same fucking thing happened with dollar stores. That's so expensive. Yeah, I'm being serious. That's what it is.
Round 2. I've made my share of mistakes.
Last month, I took an order for a batch of copper parts. I've already bought all the materials. It cost tens of thousands, and everything has been cut, ground, washed, and engraved.
Yeah, they sitting on all this stuff.
It's not finished yet, but today the customer messaged me and said the delivery might be delayed. After customs clearance, the taxes have gone up too much.
Don't compare. You just spread your
Anarchy in Europe. Is anarchy in parts of Spain, France, and the UK now? What the f?
It is anarchy in parts of Spain, France, and the UK right now as migrant gangs from Northern Africa and the Middle East violently try to take over and intimidate innocent people.
Why are there violent migrant gangs from the Middle East and North Africa? This seems like an unforced error. Really, it seems like it shouldn't happen.
Spain is currently in crisis, with ongoing clashes between migrant gangs and Spaniards following the violent bashing of an elderly man in Torre Pacheco.
Remember what I said yesterday about as soon as one country is able to crash out and successfully make a change because of the crash out, then you're going to have all the other ones doing it. And now you're starting to see this happen in France and also in the UK.
And again in Spain, a man with...
Have you guys been destabilizing the Middle East for the past 70 years? Then why aren't they why aren't they doing this over in Dubai? Dubai and Saudi Arabia are in the Middle East. Why don't you think about that? Like, come back? Yeah, think about that. So what? Yeah, okay. Like, they know better? Yeah, they do.
The baby was callously threatened by a knife-wielding gang for simply walking down the street.
Behind his back. Square up on a single dad with a baby? What is this? Oh my god.
And in the tourist mecca of Barcelona, the cobblestone laneways are no longer filled with people enjoying their vacations, but with hundreds of Muslim men chanting. This commentator sent a stark warning, saying, if you wanted to visit Barcelona, Spain, now it's looking like Islamabad, Pakistan. France is also in...
How the fuck does that happen? Yeah, how the fuck does that happen anyway? What I think is so funny about this is the fact that a lot of the other countries in the Middle East don't take any of these people. Like, I never hear about UAE, Qatar, or Saudi Arabia like there's one more of them. I'm not thinking of the name. They never fucking. I never hear about these problems there ever. Yeah, like it's crazy. Like they reject them.
This is real. The migration mess with violence running rampant in the streets, like at the Fête de la Musique last month, where hundreds of young people were stabbed on syringes and property set alight.
What the fuck?
Oh my God. Shocked with the footage, with this person saying, "This is France? This looks like Ghana, not France." And two women were left injured and terrified after their car was surrounded and destroyed by rioters following the PSG Champions League victory.
Hey. Nothing says a soccer celebration like burning down a car. Ah, good.
We must stand shout, save the world.
In the UK,
absolutely insane. Do you know what the best part about this is? This is the opening plot for V for Vendetta. That's what's so funny to me about this.
the situation is even more dire, with daily occurrences of violent bashings and stabbings by migrant groups on innocent local victims.
The moon!
What happens because they get away with it. It's simple. They get away with it. There's enough of them in the area, and they think that nothing is going to happen to them. And that's the reason why. They don't do this in like, and this isn't. You've got to understand that like this is not simply a religious issue, because Muslim majority countries like Saudi. You think Saudi Arabia puts up with this shit? Fuck no, they don't put up with this. What do you think happens? You go around, you do this over in Dubai. You're dead. That's what happens. You're dead. And they kill you. And so the problem is that the people do this because they know they can get away with it. That's the reason Saudi Arabia is a dictatorship, man. They still not getting away with it. I mean, they're not. You call it whatever you want to call it, but like they're still not getting away with it. And
Knife crime is at an all-time high, with people being randomly targeted on the street.
he's got this left hand.
By the eye of
Women's advocacy group Women's Safety Initiative is speaking up about the issue to raise awareness about the dire state of play in the UK at the moment.
Don't they like not report? Like I've heard that they don't report the amount of like sexual violence that happens and like the increases. I don't know really if that's true, but I hear it a lot. Is this the country that bans ninja swords? Yes, that would be the country that bans ninja swords. That would be correct. Yes.
The silent impact of mass migration on women's daily lives in the UK is a stark reminder of the people we have got to in this country. A country that has taken multiculturalism over assimilation, ultimately leading to what we would have
I mean, if you have people that are going in and they're coming into the country and raping people and stabbing them, that's not multicultural. Like, like multicultural is like whenever you know, I go downtown to Austin and I can go to like a Italian restaurant or a Mexican restaurant or a barbecue place. Like that's multiculturalism. This isn't a culture. This is behavior. No, it is multicultural. What I'm saying is they're going to do this in their own countries. They do this here because they can get away with it. Well, you're wrong. No. I really, I think that a lot of you guys don't understand. They do. I mean, well, yeah. I mean, and in some of the places they do, and that whole area is so bad that they leave.
Parallel communities with limited cross-cultural understanding. Let's take a look at Wolseley Green, one of the most dangerous areas you could possibly live in Birmingham, with 181 crimes per 1,000 residents.
181 crimes per 1,000 residents. So that means 18% of people are causing trouble? Bro, I think my 2% number might have been too low. I don't know, man. This is bad. But actually, to be fair, you have 181 crimes. I bet they're committed by probably what, fucking 20 people. There's probably 20 people doing everything.
And a large portion of these crimes being sexual and violent offences.
Yep.
Now let me make it clear, the demographic of this ward is significant. Less than 10% of this ward account for white British people. Violence and sexual offences constitute the largest crime categories.
I think this is a big problem that they have, is that they view any sort of crackdown on this type of behavior because these people come from different cultures. And I think that there is like more of a allowance of bad behavior because they assume that cracking down on it would disproportionately affect people of a certain ethnicity, therefore it's racist. And I think that's the reason why they can't solve this problem. It's because they're afraid of effectively looking bad or being called. And so like if you can't identify what a problem is, and you can't look at it and approach it in an objective way, you can never solve the problem. It's kind of like how Twitch can never solve the problem with hot tub girls, because they can never acknowledge the fact is that it's a bunch of girls that are trying to sell OnlyFans on Twitch. Because by doing so, you would acknowledge that this is a one-gender problem, and in doing so, that would be sexist. So all they can do is create half measures, or it's kind of like, you know, I'm trying to think of a good way to explain this, but like they can never deal with the problem directly. They have to deal with it through like multiple levels of abstraction, so they can create plausible deniability from disingenuous people that want to accuse them of bad behavior. And that's what's happening here. It's not sexist if it's one's gender committing the problem. Well, the problem though is that people aren't willing to accept that idea. And people are still captured by the idea of if a certain policy or a certain action disproportionately affects a group of people, then that policy or action, if it disproportionately affects a group of people who are deemed marginalized, is fundamentally racist. And it's an optics argument, right? It's something that looks bad. And I think that's really it. They don't get punished, so they do this. Well, exactly, right? They don't get punished. Why don't you cut your nails? I do. What do you mean? My nails are cut. What are you talking about? Idiot. Idiot.
Green, making up 50.3% of all crimes reported. They are averaging at about 150 to 160 violent sexual assaults. They are green.
What are you talking about? That's really it. They don't get punished, so they do this. Well, exactly, right? They don't get punished. Why don't you cut your nails? I do. What do you mean? My nails are cut. What are you talking about? Idiot. Idiot.
Green, making up 50.3% of all crimes reported. They are averaging at about 150 to 160 violent sexual offences committed every month.
That's a lot.
And commentator
it's like what, fucking like 4 or 5 a day?
Matt Goodwin agreed.
So a 24-year-old man has been brutally murdered on the streets of London, outside a luxury hotel, by another man who was allegedly trying to steal his watch. This is merely the latest horrific symbol of how out of control and horrific London has become.
Jesus.
Just look at the stats. Shoplifting is up 54%. Theft from...
How are people not just putting more money into the police to arrest the people that are shoplifting? Because this is what's so crazy about it, is that it's pretty easy to solve this problem, right? You just get the police and you arrest the people and that's it, right? Put them in jail, you're done. And I don't know what to say. Yeah, ask our leaders that, Zach. We defunded the police. Listen, and by the way, I know that I'm throwing stones in a glass house because, like, I've said the same stuff about us doing this here in the U.S. Like, I realize that you guys, like, we have the same problem that you guys have, but it seems like it's even worse in Europe and parts of Europe. Obviously, Europe is made up of many countries, but like in places like the UK, France, and Spain, this seems like a huge issue. This heads up, Sky will be over exaggerating. I'm not saying it's not true. I think that it's probably really bad. And I think anybody could have expected this to happen.
I'm not judging.
This video is very misleading. Well, just real quick, like, what do you think is misleading about this video? I'm in the UK and there's literally nothing happening. The clips they show are 1 to 2 years old. So about the UK, I'm not really sure. And so like some of these clips, there's nothing happening. Like, okay, so there's nothing happening to you, and that's, I don't know. I mean, he's lying. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where this guy lives. I mean, it's impossible for me to say. I mean, the things happening in Spain are happening, like they happened like 2 nights ago, 2 days ago. I mean, it sure seems like this is a problem, though, right? I mean, like, if you see, like, all this mass migration in the country, like, do you see this as a problem? Like, does this seem like an issue to you, or do you think it's good? Or maybe not good, but like a neutral effect? Yeah, he's bullshitting you? Well, I don't know if he is or not. I mean, there's no way to know at all. It's because he's ignorant of happening and discarding as a result of something else.
The battle starts in 5.
We have some refugee problem, but there are not riots at the moment. Well, no, okay, that's fine. Yeah, I didn't say there were riots. There's riots in Spain, but not in the UK right now, as far as I know.
The person is up 41%. 70,000 phones were stolen from people in this city last year alone. There's a rape every hour, sexual offences are through the roof, and it's not just the crime that bothers me. London has also become a symbol for liberal progressives of how they'd like to see the rest of the country. But do you really want the rest of the country to look like London? Hundreds of thousands of people who don't speak English, our national language, hundreds of thousands of illegal migrants, hate marches on the streets of our capital city every week, pro-Hamas, pro-Hezbollah hate marches.
And all of this...
How can they do pro-Hamas and Hezbollah hate marches if they have all those hate speech laws over there? Like, I don't understand this. You know I'm a UK viewer at this point. All the things are 100% big issues, mostly pointing at minorities. Of course, the video is definitely over the top sensationalist, but not untrue. 2-tier system. I'm telling you guys, like, this is, I really think this is going to radicalize people, and they're going to vote for somebody who's, like, one of those, like, fucking, like, V for Vendetta level, like, authoritarians to, like, solve this problem, and I think that they'll do it militarily. I think that's clearly what's going to happen. I don't see how that's not the outcome.
Stark evidence and footage of countries overrun by violence and division. Yes, the governments and leadership do.
And by the way, a lot of people are naming names. I think the level of extremism that a person is going to have in order to solve this problem, nobody is expressing that level of extremism in the current window of politics over there. I think it's going to be somebody we don't even know who they are, or it's going to be somebody who dramatically shifts what they're saying to an insane way. Farage is weak. Yeah, anybody like Nigel Farage or any of these people, they're going to seem like liberals compared to this person. The Swedish guy, no? Well, I don't know about that. I'm not sure who you're talking about.
Absolutely nothing. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer seems to be more concerned about protecting the illegal migrants than protecting his own people. Reform UK's Leah Youssef
he's been talking about it recently because he doesn't want to lose elections.
Prime Minister for his incompetence
Seems
on
that
the
way.
issue.
It's all garbage. No one feels which is why the ratings have collapsed at historic speed. There's north of 1.2 million people here in this country illegally already. They are crossing the channel illegally at record numbers, right? So things are not improving fast enough. They are getting demonstrably worse every single week. And the only way we're going to solve this problem, Mike, and restore a social contract that is hanging by a thread in this country is by deporting every single one of those 1.2 million people who are here. We need to be standing up enormous amounts of detention capacity. We need huge numbers of charter flights. We need return agreements with countries to take...
See this guy, what he's saying? That's close. That's close, but I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot more than that.
These people back, and if they don't take them back, we need to be doing things like stopping issuing visas altogether. We need to be scrapping the foreign aid.
And Starmer's latest humiliation, his deal with Emmanuel Macron of France over illegals, which commentators believe will have absolutely no impact on fixing the current issue.
As far as their main kind of
Probably
policies go, one of them they bang on about because of that ridiculous and ludicrous summit last.
Check crime stats yourself instead of fear-mongering, attention-grabbing videos. You mean the crime stats that places like Sweden intentionally obfuscate in order to hide the idea of migrant crime? Are those the crime stats you want me to look at?
Le Summit, as we called it here, between Emmanuel Macron and Keir Starmer.
try.
You know, they seem to think that finding some form of middle ground and finding an agreement on stopping the migrants is going to stop them. Well, it isn't. You know, they've now got the idea, Yvette Cooper has, that they're going to send some people back to Iraq. You know, I'll believe it when I see it. Nothing of that they do work.
No one is going to go back to Iraq because even if they have a returns deal, the European Convention of Human Rights and its court will interfere and prevent that deal from being enacted.
And in a shock move, French reports indicate that France is now giving all Palestinians in Gaza the opportunity to apply for asylum. This commentator revealed this, saying a French court has ruled that all people from Gaza can apply for asylum in France. That is 2.1 million people that can come to Europe. Not only that, because of freedom of movement, they could potentially travel anywhere in the EU once inside France. Sounds like a bad idea.
Sounds like a bad idea.
And whilst the leaders of Europe refuse to do anything, the people have taken things into their own hands.
I just don't understand how, like, one thing that's really confusing to me about this is that why is it that Europe has some sort of unique responsibility to solve and alleviate these problems in the Middle East when there's a bunch of Middle Eastern countries there that these people could go to instead? It seems really confusing to me that Europe is the one that's supposed to solve this problem. Yeah, we don't. Well, World War II, white guilt. Yeah, I mean, you can say whatever the reason is at all, but it just, like, it's completely illogical. I don't see it at all. Why do you think the countries are doing this? Second-class citizens? Why are countries doing this? I think that... So, well, let me finish the video and I'll talk about why I think it's happening.
To send a message that this will not be tolerated.
You saw it. This is recent.
I am ready to put on a show.
Spaniards have also had enough and are responding with violence.
Yep, here we go. Oh boy. So, wow. Attack the random car with people in it. So, what I think is happening, the reason why I think it's happening is that I think that there's a number of different reasons why. So, some of the reasons why I think it's happening is, number one, it's that a lot of the people that are in these Western cultures think that they have some sort of guilt or obligation to let these people into these countries because of previous and in some cases legitimate ways that their countries have historically taken advantage of Middle Eastern countries or other less privileged countries like ones in Africa, right? So that's number one. So there's like a degree of generational guilt through because of colonialization. That's one. And then number two, I think that you have a lot of people that have a lot of these values and they think these things because they never have to experience them themselves. So like, for example, that chatter who's saying that about London, he's saying that this isn't really a problem, but he might not live in the area where it's a problem. So, like, for example, here in Austin, there are a lot of places where there are pretty much only white people. Like, I mean, in Lakeway, for example, this is the case, where, like, there's a handful of minorities, but, like, the demographics of, like, Lakeway in Austin, like, just so you guys get an idea of, like, kind of, like, just imagine, like, this is Austin, right? And so, like, this is Lakeway, and this is, like, Montopolis, and, like, this is I-35. This is, like, the amount of, like, white people here versus Hispanic people here is, like, inverse. Where, like, it's, like, 90% white people here versus, like, you know, 90% Hispanic people here. Do you guys see, you have project areas, right? Well, not really project areas. They're just areas that are less developed, right? And, like, the point that I'm making on Pflugerville, I've never been there, I'm not sure. But the point that I'm making is that a lot of the people that advocate for, like, mass migration or a lot of these, like, anti-police policies. So, and this is really what the problem is it's people that are from this area that then negatively affect this area. So this area is now negatively affected because of lower policing, because you have a bunch of people in these ivory towers that think that they're good people. Look at me, wow, I'm so good because I'm going against these evil, corrupt police officers. But the fact is that these police officers are actually the ones that are keeping these places livable, right? And so what I think happens in a lot of cases is that, and so you have, and what I mean by this, like my point with all of this is it's collectively, effectively, it's a luxury belief that they're writing checks that other parts of the country need to cash. Or sorry, other parts of the country, other parts of the city, other parts of the world need to cash. So they're saying that, oh, all this stuff is normal and it's totally fine. Well, it is for them because they don't ever have to experience the consequences from it, and they never will experience the consequences from it because they live in multi-million-dollar homes in gated communities, and the only time they interact with minorities is through like some sort of like fucking, you know, like some servant service, right? Like a, you know, some housekeeping service, and so that's their thinking of it, right? It's literally like these like upper middle class liberals that are like, well, who's gonna clean my house? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, it's again, it's like the casual racism of it is insane. But anyway, so that's another reason why it's happening. A third reason why it's happening is that, and this is a big conspiracy that I have, is that I don't see how a government could allow this to happen unless they were kind of pushing for authoritarianism. So you can make the logical argument that they are effectively pushing accelerationism towards an authoritarian government by creating the need for an authoritarian government by destabilizing the population. Now, I don't think this is necessarily what's happening, but if I was a conspiracy theorist, that's what I would believe. And so there's definitely that, and the logic tracks. Yeah, the logic tracks immediately, right? Like everything that's happening makes sense. Then there's another thing. This is with the U.S. With the UK, I'm not sure because the way they're voting and like their whole system works, I'm not familiar with. And in Europe, but in the U.S., one of the reasons why a lot of countries or states like you know, California, for example, want to advocate for illegal immigration is because it increases the amount of votes that they have nationally, because the illegals are counted on the census. And the idea is that the more illegals that are counted on the census, the more their influence will be. And they're assuming that these illegals will vote and behave, and their children will vote and behave in a way that is beneficial to them. So they're making like a long-term generational investment in having these people come over to the country, and then hopefully having some sort of generational obligation or loyalty to the party that allowed them to do that. Reach? No, it's not a reach. This is literally just the truth, right? Like, that's the way it works. And so illegals can't vote, but their kids can, because they have kids here, and the kids are protected under the 14th Amendment, and they grow up to be citizens, and then they vote. And then they vote in the best interest of keeping their parents, who are illegals, in the country. You see how that works? There you go. And so, again, like, and the bro's cooking? No, that's, again, like, this is just logic. And so once you deconstruct these ideas, I think that a lot of it makes a lot of sense. It makes perfect sense. And so why is it happening in Europe? I think also Europe has, and this is especially true with countries, especially, I mean, the main one is Germany, right? is Germany has like a lot of generational guilt because of World War II and the Nazis. So a lot of countries in Europe view not helping these other developing countries, especially if these countries are not the same ethnicity of them, they view not doing that or approaching solving problems that like groups like this create, like for example, like the gangs or whatever, they view solving these problems as racism, and it makes them afraid to deal with it because they don't want to be seen in the same way that their ancestors are seen. Do you see kind of what I'm saying? And so like all of these things come together, and that's what really creates these problems. I'll read a few comments, but like that's like do you see kind of like how all of these things fit
Spider-Man?
together? Oh, and then there's
No, don't ban Spider-Man. Ban Thing or Groot. Either of them.
Bring in a lot of these
Who's more annoying?
Low
I
education
think
workers
more annoying,
because
no?
they can exploit them. And so you also have the merging of
I don't know why you're banning Spider-Man, but okay.
with self-serving government, with luxury belief liberals, and you also have a degree of generational guilt that happens throughout the entire culture. All of these things fit together.
Go
and
Emma,
it
I'll
makes
go
people
support.
say
Go
that
Emma.
This is okay. That's
Emma and fine, I can play support. No, I can. Don't play Rocket. Don't play Rocket, please.
Everything together. That's the issue.
Don't play Rocket if Phoenix is
Especially with
open.
What's happening in Spain, bro? We're done with this generational guilt shit, though. Well, I mean, not yet. Obviously, not yet. And I think that a lot of us on the internet.
Or I
need
can
to
go Loki
understand
too.
that
I'll try Loki.
We are in an echo chamber. There are a lot of, and this is especially true with like older, and I would say this is like 45-plus-year-old people.
I keep forgetting
A
his
lot of those
all
older
charge
people
nerfs.
are still captured
He'll get his
by
ult
that
way
type of
slow.
thinking. They're still captured by that type of thinking, and they're still inside of that box. And the reason why is because the government keeps them there. The government keeps them there, the media keeps them there, and
He's
they're
saying
not
don't
able to
flank.
get out of it.
That's what he's trying to imply.
It's boomers and some Gen Xers, but it's
Play main
primarily
with that
boomers.
team up, and
that are like really 50,
we can try
55
to
plus, and you can see that
use
with
my
a lot of
tether
these, like,
cape
Trump
while
protests, for
you
example,
use your
is that you either
team up.
have two groups
We can
of
shred
people.
their
You
tanks
have
with that.
young women that are probably, you know, like fucking mentally ill or something, and then you also have a lot of old people, right? And all you have to do is look at it, like the amount of people that are keying Teslas or anything like that. You have it there. And millennials too. Well, that's why I was talking about mental illness, right? And
Nice.
generational conditioning. Well, tell them they're wrong. Well, yeah. You can tell them they're wrong. This problem will solve itself when those people generally just die out, because that's what's going to happen. Is they're going to die, and then the people that are going to replace them will
Come back,
have
Emma,
the
come back,
same
Emma.
values because they didn't grow up in the same way. And so once enough of those people die, then you'll see a big policy shift, right? It's sad, it's a sad way to look at it, right? Because like a lot of these are like, you know, people our parents' age. But the reality is that, yes, I mean, this is the circle of life. Like, this is just how it is. And so die from age, right? Yeah, of course. Like, yeah, they just get old and, you know, like, that's what old people do. Old people die. Like, that's life.
Sue, go first. Go first, Sue.
Losing it, and let's start with Ana Navarro. She's not only one of the miserable nations of you, but she also shares her unpleasant and uninformed invective on CNN, where she dismisses certain opinions based on gender and race.
God damn.
Also, I want to respond to you saying that I was hyperbolic when I talked about a reign of terror. No, it might be hyperbolic.
I tried to cloak, but it was a bit too late.
It's not hyperbolic for me as a Latino. No, I'm not being racist.
I will take.
I am telling you that what the Latino
Go walk. Don't panic. Just walk. Touch. Okay, now walk back. Slowly walk back.
There she goes again, pretending every member of the Latino community is illegal and people of being deported. As for her being blatantly sexist and racist in that instance, well, it wasn't long before
To ult for Star-Lord. Until then, don't ult.
wasn't rushed in to rescue her. She do that if a man dismissed Navarro's opinion of hers of her gender and race.
I just want to make a point that
Star-Lord ulting.
I don't think that's the insult.
Come back.
Differently from you, which is not an insult. It's not.
Or go next. Just die and come. Go next.
Say what now, Abby? Nice attempt at gaslighting, but we just heard Anna being
Wait.
racial.
Let them come back. Let the tanks come back.
Opinion that was ugly. It was the racist, sexist reason behind it.
As a white man?
Now let's go to Anna's View co-host Sunny Hostin, who exemplifies the left so beautifully, so unprincipled, so inconsistent, so utterly devoid of anything resembling a good faith argument. Let's see her go from claiming anyone who wants the Epstein list released is a reckless conspiracy theorist. That's when the Democrats were in power. But now that Trump is in power, well, she's had a dramatic change of heart, and let's thank Maisel Moore again for this superb clip.
People were dying for this information. There was some list that everybody thought was going to come out. Who's on the list? What's important for us to note is we shouldn't be repeating names that are on the list, because just because your name has not on the list, but in the document, just because
Come back.
documents doesn't mean that you have done anything
Emma, come back.
irresponsible or illegal or civilly irresponsible, or that you were a client, But only really, these documents as I read them, only reflect Epstein's sexual assaults of women and his sexual behavior. So I think that
Alt.
so being named in this suit does not equate to being the truth of what you're doing, and I think that is extremely important because conspiracy theorists
Invisible.
seem to not understand.
Yeah, that was a bad ult, but okay, never mind.
There is a list. Trump's name is on the logs, the passenger logs of Epstein's aircraft at least 7 times. That's already been made public. I mean, of course,
Just stack in.
any no allegations, but all of that information is out there. Why not just put it to rest and say, release the
And let's stick with the ladies of the View. Whoopi Goldberg is unhappy again. This she's expecting her own, including Mark
Hamel.
even Barack Obama, who have advised the left, have advised the Democrats to stop whining so much. Whoopi is outraged. She wants to keep whining incessantly.
Let me remind everybody who was out in the front lines marching when we had the giant marches that went on. It was the people. The people went out. They were not navel gazing. It was older people who were saying, why are you touching my Social Security? It was not people whining. With much due respect to you both, I believe you are pointing the finger at the wrong person when you say Democrat.
And let's hear from Barack Obama, who's had a dramatic change of heart, almost Sunny Hostin-like. He's gone from berating men, claiming that only sexism is stopping them from voting for Kamala Harris. Remember
Keep Sue alive. Just keep Sue alive.
Down to 30 seconds.
Sue, go alt. Why are we waiting for?
Bro, Invisible, the fuck you're doing, Invisible?
But now Barack Obama has had he's changed his tune. Here he is rooting for men on Michelle Obama's podcast. He explains that boys and men feel like they're not being valued.
And I would argue that some of the broad political trends we've seen, not just in this country, but around the world.
But they have one support all. They haven't even used it all game, man. What the hell?
This sense of boys, men not feeling as if they are seen, feeling as if they count, and that then makes them more interested in
Why?
Bro, you heard me, Alt. You heard me, Alt. Why would you stack your ult with me?
Now, in the past, we've talked about Barbara Streisand.
Bro, Invisible, you fucking suck. You fucking suck, Invisible.
The president for her drinking too much. And now we have actress Valerie Bertinelli getting on the internet to talk about her desire for alcohol and food. To give this Democrat some credit, she is a big Democrat. She even
Go fucking tank Invisible.
for Kamala. How embarrassing. Now, to give her credit, she doesn't directly blame Trump for her online meltdown, but we all know who's to blame.
I want to drink. I want to numb it. I don't want to feel it. But my logical mind is like, no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to numb it. You know what will help you feel better. Is to just feel the feelings. Get through to the other side. Have a good cry. And yet I can't cry.
Now, the almighty LGBTQIA++ community is fracturing. This group that has enjoyed disproportionate power, disproportionate influence in recent years is splitting, with many in the LGB part, lesbians, gays and bisexuals, rejecting the excesses of the trans movement.
We are normal gays.
We are absolutely embarrassed by the insanity of queer ideology and are announcing our departure.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Thousands of genders and transition children.
If you stand for the separation between crazy and common sense,
and you no longer agree with the ideology of woke activism,
We are taking a stand by reposting, resharing, and refocusing our energy on us.
And let's see what happened when Ariel Scarcella, you saw in that clip, attended Pride in New York and sought to have some sane, rational conversations. It didn't go too well. You see, the love and tolerance mob can't even tolerate a lesbian, a member of the LGBT community who is not in favour of irreversible trans treatments for children. Watch this.
The way it goes. The procedures for people to be able to... On minors, yes, on minors. To no longer get gender-affirming care under 18. I agree with that, and I think a lot of LGBT people do, including a lot of my transsexual friends. So what are trans kids supposed to do? Just sit and wait? A lot of kids grow out of it. Grow out of it. So you're saying it's a permit. New York Pride trying to say, why are we okay with this conservative influencer?
We have no support also now, so play carefully.
To our destination. Freedom of speech. I also didn't say that. I'm ready to put on a show.
Come back, come back.
Joining me now is YouTuber and conservative gay activist Ariel Scarcella. Ariel, were you spreading hate there in New York City, just around the corner from a pride parade?
I mean,
TP dog, TP.
right? I'm a lesbian. I should be allowed to be there, and I would have never thought that this little hat and 5'1" little old me would have full.
One doll.
A hectic day. No, I'm just kidding. I knew that was going to be a hectic day. But it's crazy because New York City is supposed to be the most beautiful city in the world. Right? There's just too much what we
Heal each other, heal each other, heal each other, heal each other.
in the true sense of the word, which is why I made that video.
I don't have invisibility as that guy. As yeah.
She decided to call it Alliance Day, which is the first video.
Oh my god! He not using anything up! He not using multi-map! What the fuck?
Like this was 6 years ago when I visited you in Australia. And I was leaving the left end. Yes. And now it's just like I'm inviting everyone else to come along. And now we have, you know, we want to celebrate one day. You can be, you know,
we need you back, Ariel, for Mardi Gras. Next time Mardi Gras is on, you need to be back here. You need to be wearing that cap. And hopefully, this time you will have a lot more support, because it must be pretty confronting to have someone like that towering over you, saying you shouldn't be able to express your opinion. Do these crazed activists think your opinion is deserving of violence? Because, I mean, what else do they mean when they say, are we just going to let us say that? Are they going to physically stop you?
I guess, I mean, even if they don't verbally say that they're calling for violence, I think it says everything that I have to hire a bodyguard to play this time around. There are a number of other LGBT people, normal gays, and there are a number of other regular straight people that have been doing these types of street interviews and getting physically and verbally harassed. Savannah, I forget her last name, but Savannah recently was at like an abortion or whatever it was, interviewing people and got like this is it's come down to this, which is really sad. So I said, you know what?
Yep, we've played that punch.
I'm gonna hire a bodyguard.
It is really quite terrifying.
Oh, they only have one support ult, bro. Just play around that. Just play around that. Force Luna ult, and then you win every single fight.
Community. It's not just yourself. You've been one of the leaders of it. Where do you think the split is right now? Are the dissenting voices like yourself a small minority, or do you represent a sizable chunk of that community?
I think like 6 years ago, there was a very small fraction of us, and I think
Bro, both tanks and Luna
just based on
back.
how many views that one video of Alliance Day got, it blew up on every single platform. Just that alone shows you
Oh, what?
now than way more of us now. And I think it comes down to three main issues. It's the leave kids alone debate, the protect women's spaces debate, and the
It's okay. Go next. Go next. Go next. Play together. Play together.
versus gender identity debate. So it's basically
Kill Luna. Kill Luna.
Judge, jury, executioner!
Now, the excesses of the trans movement, this obsession you mentioned with exposing children to this ideology, has really changed.
See, this is why I don't play support, bro. This is exactly why I don't play support.
Several trans people who are deeply
I don't trust these fraud DPS to carry the game.
how they change the way many people see them. I think this has actually been terrible for people who identify as trans, who don't want to have anything to do with this.
They have Jeff ult now, anytime.
In a political life.
Starlord flanking. Starlord flanking.
They're all flanking.
Keep me up. I almost have Mal. Just keep me up. I'm keeping you up.
Renamed itself, and it's fighting for everything that we disagree with, which is why we've seen the divorce happening for quite some time now.
Bro, I said 3 flanking. The fuck you're doing?
Of course, there's Blair White, there's Buck Angel, there's all these people, there's Becky Weiss.
Yeah, frauds.
There's a conservative aunt, I'm sure you've heard of him. Just a lot of normal, I hate saying the word normal, but it's like, we really are just like normal people that wanted to integrate into society, and we have those rights now. And of course, the queer activists, on the other hand, are making up all these new identities that they now have to fight for, which aren't even real.
Well, your movement is gaining strength, it's gaining numbers, it's become very much mainstream, and we look forward to talking to you again, Ariel Scarcella. I also want to talk to you about what you've described as the left's war on traditional family values. We'll do that next time. Thanks for your time tonight. Joining me now is President of the Centre for the American Experiment and founder of the popular Powerline blog, John Hinderaker. John, let's start with the White House investigating former President Joe Biden's use of the auto pen, with senior administration officials reviewing tens of thousands of documents turned over by the National Archives and Records Administration. But the former president, he's phoned the New York Times and he claims there's nothing improper about the auto pen. He told the New York Times he hadn't personally signed the orders, including those last presidential pardons, because there was a lot of them. What do you make of this story, John? Is there anything to see here?
Well, Rita, first of all, Joe Biden got a hold of the New York Times and gave them an interview because they're trying to get ahead of this story. They know it looks bad. They're trying to get their version out in front of the story. And it is ironic that Joe Biden says, well, there were so many pardons and commutations, I couldn't possibly sign them all. There's too many. I think he did grant a record number of pardons. And what his staff says, what the story is that Biden didn't know the names of the individual people he was pardoning. They would talk about people by category, and the story is Biden would say, oh yeah, pardon everyone in that category, and then they'd have a list of, 1,000 people,
What
and they'd
cheer
work
do
the
you think you
AutoCAD.
wanna be today?
And the whole process is just, it's outrageous. And one
You
thing
don't
you'll
have
notice,
to be a
Rita,
witch
is
to
that
find
Joe
the magic
Biden
in this
did
world.
sign
But
his
it does help.
family's pardons personally. He knew about those pardons, and he did sign.
Now, who am I gonna
Well, I
banish
think
from
that
this
is a
match?
tell right there. I think that was a mistake on his part. If you're going to use the auto pen, then don't make an exception for family members. Oh my goodness. I think that's the greatest scandal of modern American history. The fact that there was a president in the Oval Office who was so cognitively impaired that we really don't know who was running the country. Let's go to a story that impacts Australia, with President Donald Trump planning to increase the tariff rate on pharmaceutical imports to the US. Last year, Australia exported around $2.1 billion of medicinal and pharmaceutical products to the US, but that may change with President Trump determined to see manufacturing return to the US.
Pharmaceuticals will be tariffed probably at the end of the month, and we're going to start off with a low tariff and give the pharmaceutical companies a year or so to build, and then we're going to make it a very high tariff.
The right heroes could make all the difference.
We got to move them in. Look, there's two ways you do it. You make money, or you have them move here so they don't have to pay the tariff. Those are the two ways. The pharmaceutical companies are moving back to America where they should be.
John, it may not be great for Australia, but he's not the president of Australia, and he wasn't elected on an Australia First platform. He was elected on an America First platform, and this is precisely what he campaigned on, returning manufacturing to the US.
So, Rita, part of what's going on here is that we import a huge percentage of our pharmaceuticals, especially our generics, from China. And that's just unacceptable. We can't be in a situation where the Chinese, at best a rival, if not an adversary of the U.S., are in a position to cut off our pharmaceuticals. And yet that's the position that we're in. And I think to some extent Australia might be a little bit caught on the crossfire here. I don't mind Australia producing drugs for the U.S., but I don't want to rely on the Chinese.
And I look forward to finding out exactly.
The battle starts
No,
in 5.
well said, and I've got to say, our government hasn't exactly covered itself in glory in dealing with the US. We've got an ambassador who's on record saying terrible things about Donald Trump, and the Prime Minister and some of his ministers also. So we are, I think, we're in the freezer at the moment. Now, let's move on to the Jeffrey Epstein saga. Earlier today, Attorney General Pam Bondi said there's no change to her position on Jeffrey Epstein after President Trump suggested she could release more files. Do you see this as an issue, John, that could fracture Trump's support of that? Why aren't we seeing more information?
Well, I hope not, Rita. I think we should start with the fact that Jeffrey Epstein was a Democrat. He contributed to Hillary Clinton, Chuck Schumer, a bunch of other Democrats. The only politician that he's known to have had a relationship with that was at all significant was Bill Clinton. So it's ironic that this hot potato is now dropping in the lap of a Republican administration that had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. But what I think is going on here, Rita, is that there are voluminous investigative files related to Epstein. Now, investigative files are never released. They aren't released, and they shouldn't be. They're full of false accusations, of people telling the police things that might be embarrassing about their observations of a crime or whatever, but are not criminal. And it's important that people be able to watch. So I think that's what's happening. Yeah, there are files, but they are the kind of investigative files that are never released.
My fate fate isn't sealed.
There was so much evidence. Jeffrey Epstein was known to have cameras in so many rooms in his mansions and on the island.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Evidence that was captured at some point, and you expect to see something out of that. You expect to see some of the influential, rich, powerful people that he had in his orbit exposed, but to have nothing, I can understand why there's a lot of people who are unhappy about it. On Jeffrey Epstein, former Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett has denied that he worked with Israeli intelligence, that he was part of Mossad in any way. John, what do you make of that? I'm not sure that even that is going to convince too many people who are interested in this case. Again, there's so much history surrounding Jeffrey Epstein's rise to incredible wealth and influence. That's something that we're still not 100% clear on.
Well, Rita, maybe somebody else knows something that I don't, but I'm not aware of any evidence whatsoever that Jeffrey Epstein had anything to do with the Mossad. That is something that was just tossed out by Tucker Carlson with no supporting evidence whatsoever. And as far as I know, there isn't. So if somebody's got some evidence that somehow links Epstein to the Israeli government, I'd like to see that. But as far as I know, it doesn't exist.
By the eye of Agamotto!
Now, it's evident that the president doesn't care much about this issue. He sees it as an irritation, really, a distraction from the major issues. I think that's a mistake, but you can understand because he's dealing with some fairly major issues, and one of the things that he wants highlighted is his incredible success on the border.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Highlights the lowest month of encounters ever recorded. Customs and Border Protection says it is the second month in a row of zero releases of illegal aliens into the U.S. compared to almost 8,000 releases in June of last year.
John, the data around illegal immigration is quite astonishing. I don't think anyone expected that these policies, Trump's policies, would end the crisis in a matter of weeks, but that's what's happening. Historically low numbers are holding.
Rita, this is an unbelievable success. If you think back to the latter days of the Biden administration where they were saying, oh, it's impossible, you can't close the border, we need new legislation, the Republicans won't pass new laws. Well, it turns out, as we all suspected, Rita, that all we needed was a president who actually wanted to do his constitutional duty and enforce the law. And once they started enforcing the law, guess what? No more significant level of infiltration by illegal immigrants. And now they're having great success in convincing illegal immigrants that they don't support. They're doing things like the alligator outreach, publicizing that the object is for the purpose of inspiring people who are here in the United States to decide to be better off to get back to their home country.
By the eye of Agamotto!
There's some polling coming out saying that the deportation program is not as popular as it once was. I've got my doubts about those polls. We'll check in on them next week because they do seem to jump around the place. But we always love your insights. John Hunter, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you.
It's time for Lefties Losing It. You know, nature is healing, things are getting better day by day, even as the demented Democrats call for Donald Trump to be impeached for a targeted strike against Iran's nuclear facilities. Still, the number of sane, rational thought is increasing. You know, things are looking up when a confirmed TDS sufferer like Charlemagne is belatedly seeing the light. Now, this is going to outrage his lefty audience. There'll be meltdowns galore because he's spitting facts.
There have been a bunch of presidents who have ordered strikes without congressional approval. Barack Obama did it against
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Iraq and Syria without congressional approval. Bill Clinton did it to the president ordering military action without congressional approval has become pretty.
And he's not alone. There's another Democrat, another lefty rail against Trump, well, he's now defending him. Stephen A. Smith is angry, not at the president, but at the Democrats and their calls for impeachment.
The Democrats are calling.
Only 60 seconds left.
Same old song. The next two lost the election, the popular vote in the electoral college vote and losing the school state. Let's only go over that. Question number one. Enemy in front. No matter what you do in the United States, do you think that time
Your powers are mine! Against the world!
Particularly if you're a representative, you're an elected official in the United States of America. I don't think so. That's number one. Number two.
One couldn't win
Were the
without...
Democrats saying that when Obama bombed Libya?
It's a new day, folks. I'll be playing you some crazy lefties soon. But right now, we are just reveling in lefties who are finally seeing the light.
This is eradicating a threat.
Dr. Strange is
Disappearing.
us against the world! Fighting until we have a winner!
You don't have to concern yourself with receiving congressional approval. The Democrats know that because of Obama. So if you knew that because of Obama and you didn't say it when it involved him in Libya, why would you turn around and all of a sudden try to
By
make
the
that
eye of Agamotto!
Really, he's done my work for me. Precisely the arguments I was going to make, and now I have to listen to a lifelong Democrat make it. I may lose it myself. Now, Trump has even got Democrat Senator John Fetterman.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Criticizing
The current score
AOC
is
and her calls
0,
for Trump to be
2,
impeached.
She knows it, I know it, we all know it,
Time
that's
to
not going
switch things up,
anywhere.
including
And,
which
you know,
side you're
he's been
on.
impeached twice, and now he's still our president as well now,
don't
too.
have
So
to be a
it's not
witch to
going
find the
anywhere, and I don't
magic
think
in this
that's
world.
helpful.
But
And
it
I
does
think if you
help.
throw
You'll
that
need a
term around,
top-notch team
that
to win this
actually
one.
diminishes what the severity of what impeachment is really reserved for.
And here's more lefties getting an education. Old school lefty Bill Maher and his audience got a strong dose of logic from Republican Wesley Hunt about the importance of not tearing down Confederate statues and the importance of restoring the names of military bases. Listen to this.
Is putting the Robert E. Lee name back on
fighting every day to
I mean, are you down with that?
So when I was at West Point, I actually lived in Robert E. Lee Barracks when I was there. And as I said,
Robert E. Lee went to West Point.
Yes, he did. That's why the barracks named
30
after
seconds
him.
before you attack.
And so my
Get
brother,
ready.
sister, and I are matriculated through West Point. We all graduated. And I'll never
Are you
forget
anxious?
walking under the
Every
threshold of Robert E.
moment
Lee
of every
Barracks,
day.
thinking to myself,
Can I
damn.
help?
Only
This
if
is
you
one
can
hell of a
defeat
country.
Doom and put the
Because
timeline
only
back
in
together.
America can someone like me walk into a building named after a Confederate general and then be a successful West Point graduate.
Yes.
And I do not want to take down these statues and change the names of these buildings because they're a reminder
battle
of what
starts in
was.
5,
And if we don't
4,
remember it, we are doomed
3,
to repeat it.
2, 1.
So there's a reason for it.
As if it's not bad enough that I have the likes of Charlemagne and Stephen A. Smith making my arguments for me, now here is Bill Maher poking fun at the dangerously dim-witted and delusional ladies of the view.
Whoopi Goldberg saying it's
Feeling
worse to be
stronger
a black
already.
person in America today than a woman in Iran. You know, I say we were talking about the trans issue before, and the New York Times really has come over on that. It's sort of sensible, liberal, not crazy woke position. I mean, this is a great first step for getting Democrats back to sanity, and a second good step would be just
Stay in your lane, Bill Maher. Mocking lefties is my territory. You go back to, I don't know, smoking dope and poking fun at Christians. But I do want to play you this brilliant response to Whoopi's insane victim playing from Wesley Hunt. And note again the audience clapping. This is Bill Maher's audience. This wouldn't have happened a few years ago.
My district in the Grand Theft, Texas is actually a white majority district that President Trump would have won by 25 points. As I said, I'm a direct descendant of a slave. My great-great-grandfather was born on a Down plantation. I am literally being judged not by the color of my skin, but by the content of my character. That's the progress because life.
Us against the world!
Judge, jury, executioner!
To be black in America. Now,
By the eye of Agamotto!
Your powers are mine!
They had to go get a sandwich to back door to and his son is now a United States Congressman in a white minority district in Texas as a Republican. That is America.
My fate is
That's America.
And while we're talking about The View, let's check in on the lunacy. Here is Joy Behar.
So on Thursday, the White House said that Trump was going to make a decision on Iran within the next 2 weeks. That's what he said. Remember that? Okay. He was going to give diplomatic negotiations more time to play out, and then less than 48 hours later, this attack was underway. So what changed? And what was he actually trying to accomplish here?
I looked at 2 weeks measure was clearly a bit of a head.
So why did he keep it a secret? The surprise version?
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Could she really ask why the US didn't tell the Iranians about the surprise attack? What's the word? Here is Sunny Hostin on The View, pretending to be an international law expert, and just shut down quick smart.
Congress potentially violated the War Powers Resolution. I believe this is certainly a clear violation of international law at the very least. Democratic House Leader Hakeem Jeffries accused the president of misleading the country as to his intentions. What do you think are the possible ramifications that President Trump could face for arguably overstepping his authority?
Well, look, constitutionally, only Congress has the power to declare war. The War Powers Act would make it seem very clear you need to have congressional approval on this. But president after president after president has launched military action without the approval of Congress.
Now here is further proof that blue cities are mad and willing to elect ever more radical mistakes. New York's mayoral race is underway, and Zoran Mamdani, a socialist, the New York Post reports has barely ever held a job and admits to being a nepo baby. Well, he could be the next man. He could be the man to lead a city of 8.8 million people. This guy.
Alright, Tiger. I like the cold. Dr. Strange has opened a portal.
By the eye of Agamotto! Your powers are
Tom Homan and the Trump administration's deportation program.
Against the world!
Joining me now is comedian and host of Prime Time with Alex
the amazing
Alex, what is going on in New York? Will we have this 33-year-old become mayor?
My fate isn't sealed yet.
You know, I hate to say it, Rita, but I think he is, possibly going to win. And I think New York kind of, they get what they deserve. And if they want to try radical socialism,
Scala versus combo.
find out. I know California has terrible fires because they didn't have water to put out these fires. Lord have mercy if there's terrible fires. That's why we live in a democracy, and if these people want to go that route, fire
Well, I think we're going to see a new influx of New Yorkers moving to your state, Texas, Tennessee. I've seen that internally in the US for some time now. Californians and New Yorkers fleeing these blue states, going to red states like Texas and Florida, but sometimes they keep voting the same way, so it can be a bit of a danger. And now Joe Biden or whoever was pulling the strings put this woman, Ketanji Brown Jackson, on the Supreme Court. Remember this?
Provide a definition for the woman. Final 10 seconds.
Can I provide a definition?
By the eye of Agamotto!
Reborn from the chaos.
context. I'm not a biologist.
Yes, on the Supreme Court, I can't tell you what a woman is. But since becoming SCOTUS, we've seen that justice wowing us with theatrics, literally.
Which makes me think it must be brilliant.
And ABC News reports that Justice Brown Jackson has unloaded on her Supreme Court colleagues in a series of sharp dissents, castigating them for what she called a pure textualism approach to interpreting the law. Yes, we can't really rely on the text, Alex. We've got to just go with the feelings and vibes, I guess.
You know, she is the DEI vibe Supreme Court Justice, so I'm surprised that she doesn't want to have to look at words and go by, you know, the laws that are written in a book. So I'm honestly not surprised because she can't define a simple question like, what is a woman? She can't say that there's many biological differences, you know, when it comes to chromosomes or body parts. I mean, there's just so many differences between a man and a woman, and she wants to try to placate as if they're the same. So this is who's in power, and there's always going to be one of these DEI people that are there, and I think it's almost good in a way so we can kind of weed out who is making the wrong decision in the Supreme Court. Sadly, I think they're going to have a job for life. Supreme Court justices don't go anywhere, so they stay in the job forever. But at least we know that she's kind of, you know, the dumb one. So however she votes, we know the opposite of it is probably the way that we should be voting.
I would argue there's another one on that in that court that's even dumber, but we'll argue about that another day. But yeah, she's got some competition there, I can tell you. Sean Diddy Combs, music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, he's not going to testify at his trial. The New York Post is reporting not only is Diddy not testifying, but his legal team isn't planning on calling a single witness in his defense. Alex, I'm not a lawyer, but this seems rather a risky approach.
Well, you know, I'm not an attorney either, but I do think that they say that if you are, you know, a criminal, it's better to not go on the stand so that you don't perjure yourself, or I guess that he doesn't, you know, get caught up in some sort of web of lies by the prosecution. So maybe it is smart for him to not go on the stand, but let's be real, and I know this is an unpopular position to take. When it comes to this case and everything that I've heard so far, Puff Daddy might be the most repugnant human being in the world. But according to this case, everything seems to have been consensual. It seems like there was a lot of money and baby oil and disgusting action. But I think some people in this case need to take some sort of self-responsibility. So if Puff Daddy gets off from this court case, it's going to be like the O.J. Simpson trial. I mean, he's going to be a hero, Rita, for all the wrong reasons. So I kind of hope that that doesn't happen, but I also hope that, you know, justice is served and that he doesn't go to jail unnecessarily if he didn't really commit the crime that they're accusing him.
The right heroes could make all the difference.
Well, we don't know what the jurors think of some of the footage they've seen because no one else has seen it. Federal prosecutors on Monday showed the jurors around 20 minutes of footage from these so-called freak-offs, and the videos were only viewed by the jury due to the very graphic nature. So I don't know, I mean, again, just because it's repugnant doesn't mean it's illegal. So yeah, it'll be fascinating to see the outcome of this case. Before you go, Alex, I know you're very sad because Pride Month is almost over. You've been very active throughout June. How close have you come to being arrested or perhaps being assaulted with some of your antics?
We'll be coming in 30 seconds.
Well, you know, Rita, June is a good month when it comes to clicks, but in reality, I'm ready for it to be over because, listen, I love my gay brothers and sisters, but do we need a whole month to just celebrate somebody's sexuality? I mean, come on, a week is long enough. So I'll be happy when this holiday is over. And unfortunately, I will say this, you know, getting all these clicks and confronting drag queen story times, sadly, this stuff goes on even when it's not June. So just because June's ending,
You have to
doesn't mean
stop
it's
them from securing the mission area.
Alex Stein, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Rita.
There you are. Check this out.
It's time for Lefties losing it. And what is it on violence? They cannot help themselves time and time again. They resort to violence, whether it's mass violence like we saw with the BLM and the Antifa riots, or one-on-one violence like this next clip, watch here as this lady loses it during a discussion about abortion, attacking a pro-life activist, Savannah Craven-Matari.
I think that you just don't understand the magnitude of having a child. Yeah, well, I'm not the one who admitted they would be okay with killing babies in foster care and killing children that have been abused. That's not the point. What I that's really
Charming. That punch left Savannah bruised and bleeding, but it's okay because the charming abortion enthusiast who threw that punch has since apologised. Well, sort of. Brianna Rivers of the Bronx said this of her victim. She said, Savannah is a professional antagonist, not a reporter, and the truth will be told. I will not allow my image to be defamed by this woman's actions. Anyone who knows me knows how respectful I am. I don't even litter. There's no way you believe I'm punching people for disagreeing with my point of view. Lady, I do believe that you would punch people because of their point of view, because I've just been watching it. That's precisely what you did. Dear me. I think what these lefties need is therapy. This next woman agrees with me, but she wants taxpayers or Trump supporters to pay for her therapy because she can't cope with the world.
By the eye of Agamotto!
I really do think it's high time that we made asylums great again. Forget about building the wall, build asylums. Talking about asylums, time to check in with MSNBC. Let's hear from Democrat operative Simone Sanders. Here she's crying for gangbangers being sent to El Salvador. Remember, the American taxpayer saves a fortune by housing these criminals in El Salvador instead of US prisons.
I would like to know who the camera crew
Only 60 seconds
was
left.
hired to film this propaganda, and what company is literally exploiting the men in these videos for what? The men that you see in these videos that are dressed in white, the United States sent to El Salvador, your tax dollars are paying for them to be
I am ready to put on a show.
The tax dollars are paying for every single one of these men. Many of them now innocent people who are not gang members.
Innocent people, she says. Yes, the sort of innocent people covered in gang tattoos, cavorting with criminals and in the country illegal. Time for a Scott Derby special on CNN. This time with a Karen. No, really, that's her name.
If we were in this situation, who's your side right now, Donald Trump or Steve Bannon?
It doesn't matter. Donald Trump has a president, doesn't he?
It doesn't.
Okay, you want to call me and talk about it? Sure. Okay, right. Okay. I mean, we're not going to go over polls. His numbers are going. His approval ratings are going down. All right, we got to leave it there.
Now, this week I'll be bringing you plenty of footage of the mass happening around America and in other countries as well. It's like it's 2017 all over again. Let's check out the crowd here and tell me if you notice something about these supposed pro-democracy protesters.
By the eye of Agamotto!
Yes, did you notice the number of boomers there, elderly folk? These are the people who benefited greatly from America being a manufacturing superpower once upon a time, who bought their homes at a reasonable price. They're protesting for the status quo. If you think the majority of Trump voters care about billionaires losing billions and the share markets diving, then you haven't been paying attention. Here are some
Bro, why'd you hesitate?
in the US, 93% of the stock market is held by just 10%. The top 10%, the bottom 50% of Americans hold only around 1% of all stocks and mutual fund shares. Now let's go to Senator Josh Hawley. He's had enough of paid activists and assorted lefty troublemakers. Here he turns the tables on Code Pink activists. who are calling him a baby killer, and he reminds them of their funding from China. China.
The blood of Uyghurs on your hands. The blood of the Chinese is on your hands. And of course,
Yep, it's high time that these anti-Israeli mobs had got a taste of their own message. I just love the way he said, so what, when she kept saying, I'm a healthcare worker. Like that gives her immunity from criticism for her abhorrent activism. Now, we've covered at length Disney's latest woke disaster, Snow White, a film that is bombing at the box office, and one that is so bad that even Disney seems a little bit ashamed, scaling back the promotion dramatically. But listen here as the star, Rachel Zegler, does a massive backflip. She's gone from bagging the original story to saying, isn't it
for 88 years now, that she's just seized the good in everyone and everything. Both I and so many people who watch this film can embody that.
And let's have a good news story. Watch this thing be chased and tackled to the ground.
The current score is 0-1.
And the humiliation did not end there. Watch Granny put the baddie in a headlock.
I am beyond my pinnacle creator. I am beyond. You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
Now to fresh revelations of what fueled the deadly rampage of the Nashville school shooter, who killed 6, including 3 children aged just 9 at a Christian school in March 2023. So much of her manifesto was deliberately excluded from the official report released last week, but Megyn Kelly got her hands on the FBI report and the full manifesto.
The report from the Nashville police barely touched on the full scope and breadth of what was contained.
30 seconds before
the
you
killer's
attack.
struggles with her gender, her obsession with gender identity, alarming racial animus toward herself as a white person, and how those factors contributed to the act that she committed that day. Why do you think they excluded all of this? Why are those two things too hot to touch? What the Nashville police represented was that her trans ideology, her gender confusion, had absolutely nothing to do with the horrific act she took. How do you glean that? This stuff is all over her writings.
Not only was this mass killer, who was born Audrey but calling herself AP, obsessed with radical gender ideology, she also had a deep hatred of America and of white people.
The killer writes about how epic it would have been if she had shot up her own high school. Quote, kill all the white kids, kill my own race. F yes, destroy all the white people who are teachers. Let all the black kids go, unless if I don't like you. The killer goes on to say, being white sucks, but being black is so cool. Black people should rule, white people should fall. Every white person who lived and died, I hate you all.
Joining me now is comedian and host of Prime Time with Alex Stein on Blaze TV. Alex Stein, this is deeply disturbing, but it paints a very vivid picture indeed of what motivated this mass killer, and for 2 years authorities have deliberately suppressed those key details.
Well, Rita, they have to suppress those key details because when you look at this situation, like multiple other situations that are similar, it's not a gun problem, it's a mental health problem. And when you see that the Cosmos transgender shooters that are, on mentally, they're all diagnosed as mentally ill and they're all on some sort of antidepressant. So there seems to be a pattern when it comes to this, and they try to keep that narrative. Even though conservatives have been screaming about this constantly. So this only reinforces people like Liz with TikTok and people like myself and people that have actually spoke out about the pattern recognition when it comes to these people.
This place is worth a good look.
Alex, I mentioned that the stock market supporter base as well, including the few billionaires who support him. They've lost a lot of money, but the majority of his supporter base expected, indeed voted for major economic reform. They knew full well there'd be upheaval, there'd be winners and losers. The goal is to make American manufacturing and American workers the winners in the long run. Tell me how this policy is being received, not just by Americans in general, but particularly by Trump's base.
Well, you see people like Elon Musk who's speaking out against it, but of course Elon Musk owns a multinational corporation, multiple
By the eye of Agamotto!
So, he has a vested interest in it. But when it comes to the fairness of the trade between America and all these other foreign countries, it's been unfair for a long time. And you said it best. I mean, when in reality, less than 1% of the population owns 99% of the wealth. When stuff like this happens, of course people get affected. People have put in money in their portfolio and they see that go down. But I have no doubt in my mind that the stock market will recover because we usually So it's just kind of a tough time in the short term, but in the long term, when all of these manufacturing jobs are undoubtedly to go into a $20 billion factory in the United States, it's going to create American jobs and it's going to make our economy stronger in the long run.
Well, the bottom 50% in America only hold 1% of shares. They're far less concerned by stock market fluctuations, no matter how dramatic they may be. And I found this discussion illuminating. This is the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, speaking to Tucker Carlson about the two Americas, not left and right necessarily, but those who are financially comfortable and those who are struggling like never before.
I was really struck by two different statistics last year. Summer of 2024, Americans took more European vacations than they had in history. Summer of 2024, more Americans were using food banks than they ever have in history. I went into two food banks near my hometown to ask, what's the story? And they said, for a lot of people, it's a loss of dignity to walk in a food bank. Of course, it wasn't their traditional clientele. It wasn't people who'd lost their homes. It wasn't people out on the street. These were working families.
Alex, working people having to go into food banks just to put food on the table. They just cannot afford to feed their families. That is just not something that is sustainable for a first world nation, to have people who are working full time who still can't afford the basics.
Yeah, here in America, I mean, it is, they say, the land of milk and honey, but for a lot of people, they're struggling, especially with our college system. These kids get out of college and they're in so much debt, they have to do some sort of gig economy type job like, Uber or Uber Eats, just to kind of make ends meet in between working a 9-to-5 entry-level job. So it sounds crazy that you have to work two jobs in America and make it, but you really do. And, you're competing with illegal immigrants for some jobs. You're competing with artificial intelligence. So, it's tough. And even if you do make a living, I'm going to be honest, I make a decent living, but still, my dad's older, trying to save money for him. And it's just, even me making a decent amount of money, things are so expensive now. So I'm not surprised that more people are going to food banks. And really, I'm happy at least there are food banks in our country that at least we can help some people out. But we probably need to do more to help out the struggling Americans. And I think, our country's headed in that direction.
Well, this is why so many people in the States and elsewhere really do not care too much about stock market fluctuations, that they're not That's not what's keeping them up at night. What's keeping them up at night is how they're going to feed their families. Now, President Trump hosted the LA Dodgers today at the White House. He had the team cracking up after he refused to name a couple of senators that he doesn't like.
And others, we have a couple of senators here I just don't particularly like them, so I won't introduce. Over the course of this amazing season, the members of this team I didn't think it was that big a deal, actually. Washington.
Never seen him so relaxed. He doesn't seem too bothered by the tariff meltdowns.
No, and isn't that just so funny to watch Donald Trump just be himself? You know, that was totally off the cuff. He just said, listen, I don't even want to recognize these senators. I don't like them. They don't like me. So I'm not going to give them my attention. And that's just him being himself. And that's what we didn't have with Joe Biden. Joe Biden was constantly, if he was off script, he was basically just drooling on himself, sadly. So, you know, I love to see a president pretty relaxed like that. And that was an own. And he wasn't even trying to own the senators that were there. So that was hilarious.
Round one, go!
Yeah, he was surprised that it was such a big deal that he wasn't going to do that. He had the Los Angeles Dodgers pitcher, Clayton Kershaw, presenting him with his own 47 jersey. Let's have a look.
Mr. President, we have a gift for you as well.
I fought for mutant kind's future. Our time has finally arrived.
Now, he's quite a superstar, Clayton, and you've got a history with him, Alex. Do tell me what it is.
Well, Rita, Clayton Kershaw and I, we went to high school together at Highland Park High School in Dallas, Texas, where Clayton and I, in middle school, we were on the same Little League baseball team, and he's a future Hall of Famer. You see, that's me. I'm the really obese athlete right there, you can tell. And then also Matthew Stafford, who was the quarterback for the Los Angeles Rams, who recently won the Super Bowl. So I used to think I was bad at baseball, but maybe it's because I was playing against two, future Hall of Famers in different sports. So, yes, I'd love to see Clayton give that jersey to Donald Trump. And Clayton, he's a pretty politically moderate, but I know that all the liberals in California and Los Angeles especially are crying seeing him hand that jersey to Donald Trump. That was awesome to watch.
I can't believe you had two absolute superstars in that one little team. I mean, that is incredible. The little school in Texas, and you've got 3 stars now from that little team. Now, before you go, Alex, Michelle Obama's podcast has been a big fail despite considerable hype and promotion, and I'm sure a very lucrative contract she's got there. She just isn't getting the numbers on YouTube or elsewhere. I can't imagine why.
I think a lot of young people, a lot of people in general, because of their narrow view of what's possible, they find themselves limiting what life could look like. And I always challenge young people now to first think about your why. Don't think about the what. Don't worry about numbers and titles.
Alex, she's supposed to be wildly popular. This little chat we're having right now is going to have more views on YouTube by the morning than her podcast.
Rita, you're exactly right, and you're not being egotistical at all. Leslie Green will have millions, and I believe her last podcast had 38,000 views, and she has a marketing team that is, the same ones I think that work for the royal family. So the fact that they can't even get people to care about her podcast and that's with her brother, it's just, it's really, it shows you that she's not as likable as the Democrats think. And what I really think, though, would make the podcast a hit if she talked about her relationship with Barack and she said that they were having problems. Could you imagine if it was almost like a divorce therapy podcast? Then you would watch that, then I would watch. I think that's what she has to do. She has to have some public Hollywood divorce. That sounds insane, but that's the only way to save that podcast.
We've got to take one for the team and have a big revelation. Alex Stein, thanks for your time tonight. Well, here's a case of chutzpah. China is accusing the US of bullying after America slapped tariffs on Beijing. And Donald Trump has made it clear that he will impose additional tariffs on China if they impose retaliatory tariffs.
They put a 34% tariff on above what their ridiculous tariffs tariff or above the tariffs that we put on.
This case has caused a scramble to move to the White House, offering to remove tariffs on US products in return for relief from US tariffs. Joining me now is Sky News contributor Kosha Gator. Kosha, China, which uses economic coercion to bully smaller countries, is seriously claiming to be bullied here. It's rich. And they impose these tariffs on countries around the world. So for them to be upset about this, it's one thing for Australia to be upset, but China is not really embracing
There's a lot of stagecraft going on in this issue that's rocked the world, obviously, and between the US and China, which is a special part of this whole trade war that's happening, it really is the battle of the century between the two superpowers. And if we're moving towards a multipolar world, does believe it's no longer going to be a single superpower, but China is going to be a fellow superpower. It has to be recalibrated. And tariffs is where this battle is coming to a head. So they're jockeying against each other. And what they're after is obviously trade balance, where they're both doing 10 to 12% of trade with each other. But if you add indirect trade that's US bound, China relies on the US more, so that's the leverage that Trump is imposing. The leverage that China has is that a lot of the supply chains that sit there for vital goods, for fertilizers, penicillin, and they know that, semiconductors, etc., bring that back overnight. And so this is where you're kind of seeing the rubber hit the road, could spill out into arenas beyond even tariffs and trade, such as restricting immigration or student visas. We're not anywhere near there yet, but I would not be surprised if all of that gets put into
the supply chain issue is enormous, isn't it? Because successive leaders have really neglected that area. During COVID, we realised how dependent we were on China and how dangerous that was. And it's something that has to be addressed. Whoever's in the White House, you cannot have vital goods dependent on China. You've got to be self-sufficient enough that your penicillin doesn't have to come from China.
And that is something you're so right about. That is spotlight, and the US has a lot of economic might to wield in that regard, but it is a lesson for everybody, including Australia.
Absolutely. Now, EU nations are ready to negotiate with the US. Let's hear from the European Commission President.
We stand ready to negotiate with the United States. Indeed, we have offered 0 for 0 tariffs for industrial goods, as we have successfully done with many other trading partners, because Europe is always ready for a good deal, so we keep it on the table. But we are also prepared to respond through countermeasures and defend our interests.
It's interesting. They have offered 0 for 0 tariffs for industrial goods. Is that going to be enough for Donald Trump, or is that too narrow?
It feels like it's a start, and it happened awfully quickly. I think Madam Ursula over there, talks about it as, this is something we do all the time. It's no big deal. She didn't do it last week or last month or last year when she could have.
Absolutely.
Look, it's a start. I think what Trump is after is twofold. One is reciprocity. So the 0 for 0 is one shape that could take. The other is actually trade balance, where the number of things that are present in the market here that come from Europe is somewhat reciprocal in terms of the trade that we do there. So he talks about how US streets are flooded with European and Japanese cars. The reverse is not true, for instance. So that will take longer, where the tariffs even the playing field enough that step 2 is that hopefully the Europeans are actually importing more American goods, which helps go towards reindustrializing America, which is ultimately his goal.
Now, a massive win for the Trump administration in the Supreme Court, lifting a lower court order that blocked the deportation of Venezuelan gangbangers, amongst others. Kosha, it was a 5-4 decision.
Only 60 seconds
Amy
left.
Coney Barrett, who Donald Trump appointed in his first term, sided with the 3 leftists in the court. Tell me about this victory, what it means for the deportation plan, and the commentary around Coney Barrett. A lot of people are saying she's Donald Trump's biggest mistake.
A lot of people from the Trump base are not happy with her for this decision and other decision. Her and Chief Justice John Roberts can't rely on them as always being conservative. But notwithstanding that, this is a win, 5-4 for Trump. This is that case 3 Saturdays ago when Justice Boasberg, federal D.C. District Court judge, said and ordered the planes that were mid-flight outside of U.S. airspace on their way to taking those, to El Salvador, taking those gang members out, to be turned around and brought back. They defied it. This has been running its way up the court. Trump team asked for an emergency hearing with the SCOTUS, and they said that he does have, as commander-in-chief, jurisdiction in invoking that act and saying and declaring who is a predatory invasion or incursion. So we're not at war with Venezuela. That's where people were arguing. But it is an invasion as defined by him, and he has full jurisdiction to do that, not this judge from DC. They did say that there's some due process rights that should be or could be allowed to these folks, but it would have to be in the venue where they were held, which would be Texas, and not DC. So it's definitely a slap back on Judge Boasberg, and it is a win for Trump because they're going to be able to continue declaring these most criminal, violent gang members and the like, and getting them out of the country quickly.
And the venue is particularly important. Very big difference between DC and Texas there. And this development in the Supreme Court comes as more than 100 illegal immigrants were nabbed as part of a 5-day mass deportation operation in New York. Now, what's interesting about this, Kosha, among those detained were 3 convicted killers. The New York Post reports the group of murderers includes a 49-year-old from Trinidad and Tobago, a 32-year-old from El Salvador, and a 70-year-old from the Dominican Republic. When Trump talks about criminals, hardened criminals being amongst these illegal immigrants, this is what he's talking about, because the border was so completely compromised that you literally had killers crossing over and living freely in the community.
And the horrible cases that will live on in infamy, like Nathan Riley and others, who really tried people exactly like this, and this profile. This is the thing, right? So there's the legal thing with the SCOTUS ruling and the minutia of this jurisdiction, Article 2 powers are versus Article 3. That's all important, but the everyday person isn't in the weeds following that. The everyday person does understand criminals with tattoos all the way up to their faces coming in, these young, able-bodied men who have no business being here. We're openly welcomed in and committing crimes. So that politically, it's really the win-win for Trump. No matter what he does, he wins. People are behind him. And the Democrats are really in the box, I think, politically, when they keep defending him.
The Democrats were smart. They would just ignore this issue. They would just try not to bring any publicity to it and let him do what he wants to do in this arena, because, as you said, anytime there's any sort of media attention, there's any courtroom challenges, it's good for Trump. This is a policy every single time. Now, this has got to be the story of the week. And so far, the New York Post reports Kamala Harris was absolutely blindsided by her landslide loss to Trump. She had bought the hype herself. She thought her campaign was in good shape. They had more money, they had good press. And of course, those dodgy poll numbers that no one with a brain trusted, but she actually thought she was going to win comfortably. This is all in a new book on the 2024 presidential election by the Hill correspondent Amy Harness. She also says Tim Walz, Kamala's VP candidate, was so stunned by Kamala's terrible performance that he was unable to speak on election night. The author describes the Minnesota governor sitting in his hotel room silently on election night. Ways. How could they not see this? Surely they have learned over the years that the polls always underestimate trust. That no matter how much good press you get, the media's influence has diminished.
It is so hard to believe. I'm sure Amy kind of this reporting is well sourced, and this did happen, and it is in that way. It is possible to believe, because when Kamala goes to a point that she didn't have a lot of depth, to be very blunt about it, and a lot of people said that about her. But she found like somebody who at the high level, like, I've got more money than Team Trump, which she did. I've got more press and favorable press, which she did. So it's been good. I've got some polls that are saying I'm doing well. And she never was able to go deeper and dig deeper and like check the validity of that, or how much does money matter, how much does mainstream media effects matter, to your point. So maybe she was just floating on that surface level and got her shot. We heard similar reports of Hillary Clinton. Apparently it was very, very soft in 2016, November. That one you could still believe because she was a worthy contender. This one, to anybody who's not in a little bubble, it just feels so impossible.
This is real firepower!
It's time for Lefties Are Losing It. Let's hear from the Democratic rising star, Jasmine Crockett. Here she declares she wants illegal immigrants in the country, because who else is going to pick the cotton?
I'm opening a portal.
Watch me soar! Unite! Keep fighting until we have a winner! We're done picking cotton! You didn't pay us enough to find a plantation!
So to be clear, she sees immigrants as some subservient class. Just because you were wondering, she wants to import an underclass to do the work she considers beneath her. Now to leftist activist Kylie Brewer explaining common ways white people are racist.
Hi, my name's Kylie, and here are some things that white people say without realizing they're being racist. Number one, coming in hot, we have when a white person is telling a story and they mention the race of the person for no reason. That waitress and then mentioned how she was Hispanic as if that somehow had something to do with her character.
Wait, what? So telling a story and mentioning the races of people involved is racist? But only if white people do it. But if I'm telling a story as a woman of colour and mention, for example, a silly white girl called Kylie delivering dark lectures about racism, that's perfectly okay. Let's get some more wisdom about racism from Kylie.
Number two, telling a story about someone from a different race and then doing an accent to make the story continue. Number three, saying the N-word. Going too fast.
Doing accents is awesome and funny. And if you like rap songs and sing the lyrics that the artist has written, that does not make you racist. I mean, come on. Now, this next guy shows how you deal with these lefties. He encounters a woman in traffic in a Make America Gay Again cap. Hilarity ensues.
I like your MAGA hat. I'm just dying. Yeah, Trump.
Vehicle reached the checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
Trump fan. Trump? Great. Again. I know, but we love Trump.
I am strengthened for battle.
that is just so amusing. Now here's alleged comic John Oliver, one of the unfunniest nincompoops to ever call himself a comedian. Here he goes on some bizarre rant arguing that males really don't have an advantage in sport. Don't know why you even have men and women's categories then, John.
I've mentioned so far very much relevance to what these new laws target, which is youth sports,
Hands are shaking
all
again.
ages.
Focus.
And the
I'm
research
opening a
there
portal.
is even more scant. We have no research about how being trans or undergoing gender-affirming treatment impacts athletic performance in teams.
Yes, he really is that stupid and pathetic. A sad, it sounds like a laugh track. Companies, lies, half-truths, gaslighting, masquerading. But if you think that was the worst of it, well, brace yourself, because when this lefty loses it, he really loses it. He claims it's not the women being injured we should care about, it's the trans activists who are having their feelings.
Just to be clear, I'm not happy to watch women experience injury, humiliation, and a loss of sporting opportunities. But that includes trans women and kids, and they seem to be getting hurt the most right now.
Yeah, but they're not getting injured there, are they, John? And once there is no physical advantage, then why are we not seeing a whole bunch of women identifying as men? If you think there is no difference between the sexes, then let me read out this one stat that brings it home even for the biggest simpleton among us, and I'm talking to you, John Oliver. The fastest female sprinter in the world is American runner Allyson Felix, a woman with more gold medals than Usain Bolt. Her lifetime best for the 400 metres is 49.26 seconds. Based on 2018 data, nearly 300 high school boys in the US alone could beat it. Now, that was from back in 2021, and I can tell you the sexes haven't changed that much since then. You know, even a broken clock is right twice a day, and even CNN occasionally